back here in Arlington, Texas, where it's week 3. It's the Cowboys and the Dolphins. Brian Flores, first-year coach for Miami. On the left, coming from the Patriots, long time there. Jason Garrett, 10th overall season, 9th full year as head coach of this team. And Josh Rosen, who they went out and traded a 2nd round and a 5th round draft pick to take him from Arizona after he was drafted 10th overall last year. He's played each of the last 2 weeks, but he was told this week, you're the starter. Let's see what you got, and we will see it right off the bat. Cowboys won the toss. They deferred, and here we go. And so we will see Josh Rosen right away coming under center. Again, he's played in both of these games. The Dolphins blown out each of the first 2 weeks. This is a 10th overall draft pick, but the Cardinals wanted to go the other way, and they drafted Kyler Murray, new coach. And so here he is.
And here's his opportunity, and many of us thought it might come a little bit earlier because once you traded for Josh Rosen, you thought they'd start him right away, but they started Ryan Fitzpatrick. It's his opportunity now. Terry Bradshaw said in our pregame show he should take it the rest of the way. Well, it might begin right here with this play.
180! What's up?
And they will throw it. Coming near side, it's Allen Hurns, who played here in Dallas last year, and the first is a completion by Josh Rosen. Hurns, it's got to be special for him to be back and healthy. He played in the Cowboys for the Cowboys last year, had a horrific leg injury in the playoffs against Seattle, so good to see him back and playing, let alone contributing for Miami. As you look at the offense, they'll rotate running backs, and Kenyon Drake will start it off in there on this first series. Rosen on the fake, going to sling it. It's behind Grant, and a 3rd down is coming up. So what do we expect here early on from Rosen? How do they play to his strengths?
Well, to me, his strength is throwing the football downfield. Now, the hard part is Dallas's pass rush. They've not been excited about what they've seen the first 2 weeks, so you know they want to amp it up. Robert Quinn back playing his first game, starting at defensive end. So if I'm Miami and I want to play to his strength, I have to keep in extra blockers, max protect, so to speak, and let him have a chance to take a shot to a receiver on the perimeter downfield.
We showed you Quinn, number 58, in his Cowboys debut. On 3rd down, here is Rosen, gonna go deep, looking for Parker, one-handed catch and a flag. Devontae Parker with one hand deep down the field. And the penalty flag to boot, and it looks like it's on Dallas, so this will count, as you were saying, Charles Davis.
They take the shot. Devontae Parker's a former #1 pick at wide receiver who's had what you would call a little bit of a disappointing career thus far. But he's capable.
Defense, number 24. That penalty is declined. The play results in a 1st down.
And that's why he got picked in the 1st round. You see how he held off Awuzie with one arm and caught it? And what did I say about keeping people in? There's your running back being kept in. There's your tight end being kept in. Max protect, take on the rush, give him a chance out wide. And those receivers, their opportunity is to win those one-on-one battles.
And we get a whistle on the field. That penalty, by the way, was on Chidobe Awuzie, but obviously they go with the catch.
How about the way Parker held him off with the inside arm, and the outside arm cradles the ball in with one hand?
Well, considering that the Dolphins dropped a multitude of passes last week, including a couple of perfect deep balls from Josh Rosen, that's quite the improvement already. There is Parker, 7 targets last week, not a catch. Already that's changed. Fake to Drake. Rosen has time. Now they get it to go. And that one looking like it went right through the hands of Kenyon Drake, and Sean Lee had a chance at it.
And that was a problem last week. You just alluded to the drops. How about, you remember last week, Kalen Ballage out in the open space, a similar type of a route. Ball bounces off of his hands, gets picked off by Jamie Collins Sr., and he takes it all the way back for New England. Those are easy catches that they have to make in the open field.
Here is Drake on the carry, and he gets buried. Leighton Vander Esch all over it, and here comes a 3rd and long.
And did you note, well, here's Vander Esch, 55, and what he does so well is he diagnoses, and once he trusts his eyes, he goes right to the football. A terrific job of Vander Esch seeing it, squaring off in the hole, no place for Drake to go, and Vander Esch getting a little help from Tank Lawrence, and then Sean Lee to put him down.
3rd and 10. Here comes the blitz. Rosen has time, waits, throws, incomplete. And the Cowboys hold. Blitz was picked up well that time, but Rosen couldn't connect, and now a field goal try.
And the key play on that drive for the Dolphins after the big play to Parker was the drop by Kenyon Drake. Because he drops that in open field, that changes your play calling. Because think of the yardage he would have gotten. Would have made it 2nd and short, 3rd and short, as opposed to them having to throw the ball downfield as they just did.
So Jason Sanders, who had a great rookie year last year, has only attempted 1 field goal this year, and he hit it. It was from 54 yards, so just his 2nd attempt. This one from 47 yards out. Snap and hold are good, and the kick is not. No good. So the Dolphins finally have some positives on the opening drive for them, but the field goal is missed by Sanders, and they fail to get on the board. And so we'll see the Cowboys with the football when we come back. And so a big play from the Dolphins, a 40-yard pass to Devontae Parker, but second-year kicker Jason Sanders just didn't turn it over. Pushed it right. They missed a field goal, and here comes Dallas and Dak Prescott off to a 2-0 start. They've been red hot, and they will fake the run on the play pass. Prescott going deep. He's got Amari Cooper. What a start. Cooper inside the 30 and stay hot off that play-action pass. A big gain on 1st down from Prescott to Cooper. It's 37.
When your reputation is a team that runs the football with ferocity, when you have Ezekiel Elliott in the backfield, there's always the threat of running the football, which allows you to get to play action whenever you want to. Excellent protection in the pocket, beautifully thrown ball by Dak Prescott, and Amari Cooper's off to a fast start.
They'll run it here. It's Elliott coming off a 100-yard performance. And Elliott will get inside the 25-yard line. Dak Prescott is having an unreal start to this season in so many areas in his 4th year, and he keeps getting better and better. And you can really go back to the middle of last year. And Charles, I know this is only 2 games in, but 82% is flat out ridiculous for 2 games.
That's fantastic against routes versus air. Okay, if there's no defense completing 82%, and he's doing against NFL defenses, he's playing with supreme confidence right now.
On 2nd down, wide open is Cooper. That was too easy. Little pitch and catch is going to come up about 1.5 yards shy of a 1st down, maybe 2. We'll see where they put it. It'll be about 1.5 yards as we watch the Cowboys and their offense and what they've done so far. 5th in the league in scoring, 2nd in total offense. They're averaging 484 yards a game so far through the first 2 weeks. Taco Charlton, who the Cowboys just released, is in the game. He just got signed by the Dolphins. He's playing today, number 96. You know he's got an axe to grind here. On 3rd and 1, they will run it. Good cut by Elliott. 1st down. Elliott works his way down to the 11.
A good 1st down run for Ezekiel Elliott. You mentioned Taco Charlton, that he had an axe to grind. One of the things that they were concerned about with him in Dallas was what they called an erratic motor. When would he turn it on and play all out? Well, today on the first play, did you see him pursue down the line of scrimmage? As you said, he's something for him to prove. But right now, Dallas's offense is proving to be the superior.
On 1st down, it's Elliott. And a little stutter step, and not much there. The Dolphins stack it up pretty well. You know, Dallas in the red zone, Charles, it was a major problem last season. They were 48% inside the 20 scoring touchdowns. That was 29th in the league. This year, 5 of 6. Here they are again.
A part of it is that Dak Prescott, who is very risk-averse in throwing the football during his career, he's more inclined to throw into the tighter windows now, to take that shot, and that has been paying off early for Dallas here in the red zone.
Prescott to throw it. Going to throw a fade far corner of the end zone. Devin Smith had a hand on it, but couldn't come down with it. He had a great game last week, including a 51-yard touchdown. Prescott in the red zone. You talk about him, you know, that one, well, he didn't need to take too many risks there, but on the move, this was a dart. Witten gets it again. And just on point, that accuracy coming through in these.
And in the past, he may have seen arms and bodies in the way, may not have wanted to pull the trigger and take that throw. He's much more willing to take that shot now. And as we saw on 2 of those throws in the red zone.
Cowboys can get a 1st down at the 1. Prescott fires, tipped and incomplete. He was gunning it for Jason Witten, And the Dolphins got a hand at it. It's Stephen Parker who's making his starting safety debut today.
Nice play by Miami knocking that away. But that's a great example of if last year, I don't know that he takes this throw. But now he's saying, okay, my guy's got a chance. I'm going to give it to him. Did not read the backside safety. Parker makes a break on the football. Could have come up with a huge play early. Forces a field goal attempt instead of giving up the touchdown.
Yeah, Parker's starting because they traded away Minkah Fitzpatrick to the Steelers this week, so he makes a nice play. Here's a 28-yard attempt by Brett Maher. Get the Cowboys on the board, and it's up and through. Well, with 10:27 to go in the first quarter, opening drive. Cowboys go down the field, they get 3. So each team has had the ball once. Look at the concentration. Dolphins got a big play to Devontae Parker, but they missed a field goal. And then the Cowboys, well, they got a big play to Amari Cooper for 37 yards, and they convert a shorter field goal. And so after one possession each, it's 3-0 Dallas here from AT&T Stadium in Arlington, Texas. Maher with a 28-yarder. Jakeem Grant, who grew up in this area, waiting back to receive the kick. You know he's got family and friends here. He will take it out from 6 yards deep. Grant being aggressive. Grant up to the 20 and then gets smacked right around the 21-yard line. Let's go down to the sidelines and say hello to Pam Oliver.
Hey there, Kevin. You know, it appeared that Brian Flores was going to stick with the veteran Ryan Fitzpatrick as a starter coming into this game, but then he had a change of heart. Josh Rosen told us that he really didn't learn that he was going to be the starter until late in the week on Thursday, which is very late for a quarterback's game prep. We asked Rosen, is that a good thing? And he said that he didn't know that it was an oh shoot moment or was it a oh yay moment. He said it was a little bit of both.
Well, we're going to find out a little later. Oh my goodness. Oh, Alan Hearns just smoked by Jeff Heath. And Hearns, we just told you he suffered that horrific injury here last year. Heath just timed it perfectly, and now Hearns is down.
And you can tell that we have a bigger, how do I say this, understanding about what it takes to go across the middle in the NFL now. You notice how the crowd reacted. Yes, for the hit, but immediately concerned for Alan Hearns. All right? Because in years past, when we were growing up, Kevin, the place would have exploded. Wow, look at the big hit. Now we're like, hey, how is this guy doing? And I thought it was a legal hit by Jeff Heath. I didn't see the hit involved at all.
Injury timeout.
Jeff Heath, his eyes are back towards Josh Rosen. And all he is seeing is the football. Look at his eyes. He's playing the ball and collides with the receiver. Last week, Jeff Heath missed an interception because he just played the receiver. He heard about it all week, trying to play the ball. That led to the collision.
And he was down worrying about his teammate. Here's Drake for a couple. And the good news is Hearns walked off. But obviously you can imagine he's going to be in the concussion protocol. They got to check for head injuries, all that. But at least we saw him walk off the field.
And Jeff Heath did not take the normal route to the receiver, play through the receiver. He was playing the football.
But you're right.
And their bodies collided. And a week ago, he might have gone right through the receiver.
By the way, we checked with Dean Blandino. It was a legal hit.
It was. There's no head involved. All shoulders to the chest.
That being said, there'll be a 3rd down and 8 for Josh Rosen and company. 4-man rush. Rosen so on far side of the field. Incomplete. Byron Jones had great coverage on Preston Williams. And it's punt time for Miami. Meanwhile, we've got our first game break of the day. Let's check in with Carissa Thompson.
Thank you, Kevin. Raiders, Vikings. Vikings opening drive. Kirk Cousins play action. Finds Adam Thielen downfield for this 35-yard score. Thielen's 2nd of the year. Vikings up early, 7-0. Kevin, Charles, and Pam.
Carissa, thanks. This is a big week for Kirk Cousins.
You think he doesn't need to play well this week? After what happened in Green Bay? Yes, he needs a big game.
Matt Hawk will punt it away to Cedric Wilson. Hawk gets into it. High kick, but really short. Wilson, fair catch at the 46. And so the Cowboys will have excellent field position for their second possession. Up 3-0 here in the first. Just a 31-yard punt by Hawk. Well, how about this production in the first couple of games? Touchdowns for everybody, right? Play action. Dak Prescott has been insane. Look at these numbers. 14 of 15 and then 11 of 12 off play action passing. It's been the team's strength so far in this early season. It's worked for him. And Charles, you said it last week. He said his footwork, he loves the footwork because he comes off and he shuffles his feet and he fires. And you see those numbers, 82% historically good. They'll run it here. It's Elliott who works his way through across midfield. And he's got 5 yards on first down.
Speaking of footwork, Ezekiel Elliott was 1 foot away from busting that into a huge run. Got tripped up right as he was exploding into the open field. Let's see what trips him up. Nice block by Olawale there, the fullback. And right there, he trips over number 56, Devon Godchaw. And if he doesn't trip over him, he's deep into the secondary, and they have to make a play after Zeke gets about a 15-yard run.
Prescott loads up, fires, and it's dropped. A bullet, and Cooper just couldn't hang on. That had some mustard on it.
And how about right down the seam? Here comes Cooper, number 19, wide open, and that ball's there, and Cooper just doesn't haul it in. I'm not sure Parker really effective. Look at the footwork. You just mentioned it, Kevin. See how he got his feet calm as he likes to talk right at the end of it, and then transferred the weight and the torque and fired that shot right down the seam.
Cooper says, my bad. Third down. Dolphins come with a blitz. Prescott stands in, throws, caught by Smith, lunging forward, and he's got a first down. Devin Smith, we saw and talked about his comeback last week. First catches since 2016, 2 ACL tears, and really starting today because Michael Gallup, who had led the team the first 2 weeks, is out with a knee injury.
And we're used to Devin Smith being a high flyer deep downfield. How about that throw underneath, being physical in his route to spring himself free.
Here's Elliott. Good seal on the left side. Ezekiel Elliott, and now we get a flag. This flag came well into the run. And so it would be a first down, but hang on and let's see. Maybe coming back. As Adrian Hill is our referee this afternoon.
Holding offense. Number 77. 10-yard penalty. Remains first down.
It's on Tyron Smith, the left tackle.
So 77 in white right there. You see how he's hooking and see the hand getting a little bit of that aqua jersey. Look at that. It was Avery Moss, number 93, had a full paw of shirt.
There we go, 52's the way.
First and 20 after the penalty. Prescott pressure coming from Moss. Stands in, throws a little high and incomplete. So getting his hands on it was Blake Jarwin, the backup tight end. And so after a really good first drive, a little off on this drive for the Cowboys against this Miami defense. Look, I mean, you look at their first couple weeks, it's been rough, right? I mean, they've been yardage-wise, Charles, they've been out-yardaged, if you will, by 640 yards. But to be fair, the defense has been on the field literally the entire game.
When you look at time of possession, it is absolutely shocking how long the other team has had the ball against Miami.
Play fake. Prescott lost it going deep for Wilson, and it's incomplete. Couldn't get separation. Eric Rowe, the former Patriot, on the coverage. Good
coverage by Rowe, and he's been picked on a lot in the first 2 weeks, especially last week with New England. Because Tom Brady looked at Eric Rowe and said, I know you. You were here in New England. I worked against you in practice. And Jamal Wiltz, who was on their practice squad for 2 years, Brady knew him as well, and both of them got picked on. That was nice for Eric Rowe to come out here early and have good coverage downfield.
He's down. 49 down. Who's down? 50. Yeah, he's the mic. Yeah, got you. Down. He's the mic. He's the mic. 49. Down. 5 right here.
Third down and 20. It's a four-man rush. Pressure up the middle. Prescott pumps. Looks. Floats. And he's got Jason Witten. What a play. First down. Oh, my goodness. What a play from Dak Prescott. And Witten hauls it in. It's a gain of 33. They convert 3rd and 20.
Remember the type of the game we talked about, the confidence that Dak Prescott's playing with? What did I call it? Supreme confidence? Do you notice how he orchestrated the blocking assignments before the play even started? And then when it was time to exit the pocket, he did. And how about Jason Witten, a veteran, understanding what his quarterback needed? Find open space and present as a target, and it turned into a big first down for Dallas.
And 3rd and long conversions, the Dolphins were crushed in that last week. Here's Elliott, big hole. Ezekiel Elliott inside the 10. And just when it looked like the Cowboys drive was going to stall, it's 1st and goal.
And what got him out of the problem? Dak Prescott orchestrating and his legs, which led them to the 1st down, and then a huge gap on the left side of the line for the Cowboys. And Zeke grinning, happy to be back. Cabo was nice playing here in Arlington. Nicer.
I asked him if there's any chance next year that training camp goes to Cabo. He said, that's my paradise.
Find your own place, guys.
So they'll keep it here. Here's Prescott to Elliott. And not much. Dolphins played it well. Avery Moss was in on the stop. So Ezekiel Elliott, it's interesting because, we had the Cowboys last week. You watched them the first 2 weeks, and not to say they haven't needed him, but they haven't relied 100% on him like they have in the past, right? But yet here he is. It's the best 2-game start in his career.
Yeah, and you mentioned it. That was the quietest 100 yards maybe of his career because they didn't flat out need it the way that Dak was playing. But he's making a little bit of noise here early in this game.
He has 31 yards already. Prescott, a lot of time, throws, complete, touchdown, but a flag. It's Cooper. And let's see what the penalty flag is. See if it stands. And looks like it will. Amari Cooper, touchdown number 3.
Holding defense. Number 25. That penalty is declined. Touchdown.
And working against the best corner of Miami, Xavier Howard. Excellent footwork and body movement by Amari Cooper. That draws the hold from Howard, but he's still able to break away and get plenty of separation for the payoff from Dak Prescott.
So Amari Cooper has had a touchdown in week 1, a touchdown in week 2, and a touchdown here in week 3 from 5 yards out. Remember, the Cowboys had a 3rd and 20 that they converted on the big play to Jason Witten. Extra point by Maher. It's up and good. This was the 3rd and 20. Wiltz thought maybe Dak would run. He said, no, I'm just going to go to my veteran, soon-to-be Hall of Fame tight end. And then he finds Amari Cooper for 6. It's 10-zip, Dallas.
It's up 10 over Miami. Now look, Dak Prescott's playing at a high level, but he's getting some help from his friends as well. Watch 52 in white, Connor Williams. See, he loses the block there, but Dak's movement allows him to come back on the block, get a key one, and keep the pass rusher away from his quarterback. Trent Harris gave it an effort. Thought he might have had a chance to get to Dak Prescott, but Connor Williams on the 2nd try comes back and knocks him away. And you see that move, you see the movement, the easy movement by Williams, a former left tackle in college, moving inside the guard.
Maher will kick it off as the Dolphins will start on their own 25. Well, this week starts Saturday strong. The big noon Saturday game of the week. Texas Tech facing off with Jalen Hurts and 5th-ranked Oklahoma. Starts at the big noon kickoff pregame show, 11 Eastern on Fox and the Fox Sports app. All the big noon game yesterday was a blowout. How about Wisconsin just destroying Michigan?
Jonathan Taylor over 200 yards on the ground. And how about Jalen Hurts acclimating so quickly at Oklahoma? There's already talk of a 3rd straight Oklahoma quarterback winning a Heisman Trophy. Remember, he was the SEC Player of the Year as a freshman at Alabama.
Charles Woodson's with us again today in studio, and I think he's probably still smarting from yesterday. Sorry, Charles.
That one had to hurt.
1st and 10 for the Dolphins. They find themselves in a big hole already. Previously, like the last 2 weeks, and a short run here. And we've got another game break. Let's check in with Carissa.
Thanks, Kevin. Broncos-Packers, just like last week, Packers scoring a touchdown on the opening drive. This one, Rodgers to Marquez Valdez-Scantling for a 40-yard score. Broncos are driving the Packers up right now, 7-0. Kevin?
Uh-oh, they've got the Acme Packers jerseys on, Charles. Never know what can happen in those.
Where's Curly Lambeau when you need him?
Exactly. 2nd and 7 for the Dolphins. Rosen over the middle. Jakeem Grant who makes the catch, and he's got a 1st down. This has got to feel good for him, Charles, because he's a Dallas kid. Mesquite High School. It's about 40 miles east of the stadium, and you know he's jazzed today.
He is beyond jazzed. Has a bunch of people here. Obviously tickets. I'm sure everybody asked him for one. But what's interesting is that his brother Markeith is a monster Dallas Cowboys fan. plays as the Cowboys in Madden. Told Jakeem last week I played as the Cowboys and I lit you up coming across the middle in my game. How about that one from his own brother?
That's not right. Rosen on the play action. Pressure up the middle. Sidesteps. Now more pressure. Rosen floats it away. Nice play, and it's a first down. Nick O'Leary, the third tight end, as Rosen got out of trouble and made it work.
One of the underrated aspects of Josh Rosen's game, his movement skills. Look at him exit from the pocket, but he keeps his eyes downfield. And similar to what Dak Prescott did with Jason Witten, found his tight end, Nick O'Leary, who made himself available in a scramble drill. Nice play by Rosen, and good job by O'Leary recognizing he needed to find some open space.
54. Hey, Hastings back. White 80.
Here's Kalen Ballage for the first time. Little flea flicker, pressure. Rosen eludes, stands, points, throws, complete for a big play. Preston Williams on the flea flicker, and again, Rosen using his feet. It's down to the 19 for Miami.
And he had to use them well because Robert Quinn, number 58 for Dallas, watch how close he gets. Working against Jesse Davis, number 77. See how he takes a swipe at him, and then because Rosen gets away from him and creates that extra time, beautifully done by Rosen, and a beautiful toss to Preston Williams.
So the Dolphins on the move. Rosen over the middle, nobody there. And they're going for the slant to Williams, incomplete. Let's get an injury update from Pam Oliver.
Boy, Kevin, several Dolphins personnel went over to our monitor on the field to see the replay of that hit on Allen Hurns. They were concerned and upset by the hit rather on the wide receiver. Word from the Dolphins is that Hurns is out with a concussion.
Yeah, natural concern, Pam, for their teammate and their fellow player. But I would disagree on the hit. I thought it was very clean by Heath.
From the 19. Rosen over the middle. It's another completion inside the 10. Again, they're going to the big guy, Preston Williams. And this is Rosen's guy. He told us flat out yesterday, it's probably my best friend on the team. He's finding him.
And to find the connection, nice job. Did you see the footwork by Williams as he took that small little hop step inside to start his route against Awuzie? That allowed him to get there. And look at what this offensive line is doing. They're giving Josh Rosen enough time to find targets downfield for the most part. This is an offensive line that's been so maligned in the early going. They're acquitting themselves well on this drive.
First and goal. They bring in the fullback. They will run it. Ballage up the middle inside the 5. So Kalen Ballage works his way down to the 3. It's a gain of 5. And interestingly for Miami, they've been punched in the face so many times the first 2 weeks, so they're punching back a little bit on this drive.
Starting to show some of that toughness that they've been preaching about, talking about, wanting from their team, and they're getting it early. And those are the types of runs Ballage has to have all year long. Those tough, dirty yards inside.
Second and goal. They go to him again. Ballage running hard, but he's upended. Nicely played. Chidobe Awuzie comes in from the corner spot, puts his shoulders down and makes the tackle. It's third and goal.
And Ballage is not a little man. I mean, for Awuzie to come up and do that, if Ballage runs behind his pads and uses that body that he has, he'll be a better back in this league. Awuzie came up one-on-one. Terrific job getting lower and chopping his legs out.
Third and goal. Rosen, Ballage, and he is buried. Darian Thompson, who's playing safety for the injured Xavier Woods, made the stop, and it's fourth and goal. What does Miami do? It looks like they'll try for 3. Rosen wants to go for it.
And I don't blame him one bit. This is an 0-2 team looking for a spark, and he wants to be the one to provide it. I like that he wanted to go for it there. I like that he showed his staff, hey, let's go ahead and do this. But what a play by Darian Thompson, making his first start since 2017 when he was with the Giants. Comes inside, defeats the block by Devontae Parker, and puts Ballage on the ground.
And so Sanders, who missed from 47 earlier in the game, this one much shorter, just 21 yards, and it's perfect. And the Dolphins are on the board. And so it's 10-3 Cowboys with 53 seconds to go in this first quarter. We'll be right back after these messages from Progressive. So Josh Rosen engineers a nice drive. He's 6 of 12 for 110 yards so far. You see last year with the Cardinals, Charles, he started 13 games, and look, his numbers were obviously under par, but really struggled when he was under pressure, which, as we saw, was a lot of the time.
Was a lot of the time. So when you look at it, there's pressure, and then there's pressure. And he was under pressure a lot last year in Arizona. But so far in this game, I like the game plan of what the Dolphins are doing. Chad O'Shea, the offensive coordinator, he and his staff, keeping extra people in on just about every pass play. Trying to provide that extra little bit of help to give him a little bit more time to throw the football. And here in the early going, they've been effective in doing so.
Yeah, they try an onside kick here. It's up in the air, and it's recovered by Miami. Ken Webster with the recovery, but there's a penalty flag down, so hang on. I wonder if the Dolphins were offsides on this. Let's see. A little trickery.
Love it. They showed that they weren't aggressive and not going for it on 4th down, but Brian Flores had something in his hip pocket. An 0-2 team looking for a spark. Let's try the onside kick after a score, see if we can put some more pressure on these Cowboys. See if this one holds up for them. Remember, you got to go 10 yards from the 35 before it's touched for it to be legal.
Offside, kicking team, number 31. Since the ball was legally recovered by Miami, that penalty will mean forced 5 yards from the previous spot, and we will re-kick.
Yep, and look, if he's not offsides, that turns into a legal catch by him, because that's 10 yards where he snatches the football. And that's unfortunate, because when you go for these trick plays, when you try and put pressure on a heavily favored team, you've got to hit on them. You can't have your own errors that take away good plays like that.
Well, you can't go back-to-back on that play, can you?
you can, but I wouldn't call it advisable. They've already shown it. It's difficult. It's even more difficult nowadays to get an onside kick than it ever has been with the new kickoff rules. I mean, last year, what we were at 10-12% of onside kicks being recovered, which is down well below the 20+% before. So, yeah, that's tough to do.
I mean, you could do what you want. You could double down for dealers.
Double down.
But I wouldn't do it.
I wouldn't do it.
Just saying. They will kick it off like normal, and Pollard will let it bounce, and the Cowboys will take it on their own 25-yard line. Let's go to L.A. and hear from Dean Blandino on that play. Dean, it was close, certainly.
Yeah, it was close. Now, the kicking team, you have to have a foot on that 34-yard line, and you're going to watch. He's going to leave early, and it's very close to him being offside, breaking the plane of that restraining line. You can see the official throwing the flag there.
But, Dean, if he doesn't move early, that's a legal play at that point, because he catches it after 10, doesn't he?
He catches it after 10. Yeah, remember, it has to go 10 yards, or the receiving team has to touch it first.
All right, Dean, thanks. Final minute of the first quarter. Elliott slips, gets up, still turns it into a nice run as he's out near the 30-yard line for Dallas.
Not your normal pickup for Zeke, but still, would he get 5 on it? I mean, almost 5. Not bad. And look, they've got Elliott and Tony Pollard, the rookie out of Memphis, in the backfield at the same time. Kind of a pony backfield. Took the fullback off of this play.
Here's Pollard that goes out in motion. They're going to get it to him. Swinging out of the backfield. Looks for a block from Randall Cobb. Gets it, first down. Had them both in. They go to Pollard, the rookie, and he delivered. And that should take us to the end of the first quarter after an 8-yard pickup to Pollard. And so quarter number 1 has come to a close from AT&T Stadium. Cowboys, big plays and a touchdown to Amari Cooper. It's got them in front 10-3. Number 2 from Arlington, Texas. Glad to have you with us. Here are the stats in the first quarter. Pretty good first quarter. Both teams moved the ball. Dolphins missed on a long field goal, and then they decided to kick a short field goal on a 4th and goal from 3. Dallas has a touchdown pass from Dak Prescott to Amari Cooper. And they're on the move here as we start quarter number 2. 10-3, they lead it. From the 38, fake to Ezekiel Elliott all day. Prescott loading up. Nothing there. Still looking. Prescott now launches way down the field. It's intercepted. It is picked off by Miami. Bobby McCain, the safety, has it.
The amount of time he had to throw the football usually means that someone will shake free downfield. So give credit to the Miami secondary for making sure that they found receivers and plastered to them downfield. And then Dak got a little bit greedy, because at the tail end, when he tried to throw it deep down the middle with Randall Cobb, never saw Bobby McCain, the former cornerback, now turned safety, playing center field essentially. He comes up with a big takeaway for Miami.
Yeah, he was a slot corner the first 3 years in the league. That's the first interception of the year for the Dolphins, as Kenyon Drake with the cutback into Dallas territory.
So remember how he bought the time on 3rd and 20 and finds Jason Witten. In this case, he buys more time, and his offensive line gave him an extreme amount of time. But I think he got a little greedy, trying to take it downfield, and never saw the safety getting involved.
Talking it over with his offensive coordinator, Kellen Moore, has an opportunity for the Dolphins here. On a 2nd down and 6, they bring in the fullback go-I formation with Drake in the backfield. Rosen to throw it. Rosen pressured, in trouble, dumps it off, incomplete. Amazingly got that off because he had Christian Covington basically riding his back, and a 3rd down coming up. And Jesse Davis is slow to get up, the left tackle. And now he's down on one knee. They're working on Jesse Davis.
And he's the guy that they extended, Jesse Davis. There's Dak Prescott, as you mentioned, Kellen Moore's offensive coordinator, to Dak's left, your right at home. Looking at things on the Microsoft Surface, trying to get it all figured out. Jesse Davis was the guy that they brought in, the offensive lineman, to shore things up on the left side.
We'll look at that in a moment. We have another game break. Let's check in with Kurt Menefee. Kurt.
Well, that Baltimore-Kansas City battle of young quarterbacks has turned into one of veteran running backs. LaShawn McCoy, with his first rushing touchdown as a Kansas City Chief, follows up Mark Ingram running one in for Baltimore. They missed the 2-point conversion, and that miss is the difference in the ball game right now at 7-6 early in the 2nd quarter. Kevin, Charles, and Pam.
All right, Kurt. Appreciate it, Kurt. Jesse Davis is walking off under his own power, and let's see if we can see what happens on the play.
So right in here should be Christian Covington working inside. He ends up coming on a little bit of a loop, and he brings the pressure. And that's what Dallas is looking for. Yes, an increased pass rush, but not just off the edges. They need those guys inside. That gut pressure that teams like to get in the quarterback's face.
Rosen steps up, throws incomplete. Trying to get it to Preston Williams. And it'll be a 4th down and 6.
One thing about Josh Rosen, he's not afraid to throw into tight windows. He believes so much in his arm, believes in his accuracy. And that was a well-thrown football. A little bit outside. But did you notice how he just rifled it right through there? One thing about him, he's not coming into this game fearful and playing not to make a mistake. He's trying to make big-time throws to help out his team.
Hawk will punt it away. Randall Cobb back deep. Calls a fair catch and makes it inside the 10. Rosen had his man, just couldn't connect. 10-3 Cowboys. 10-3 Cowboys lead the Dolphins. Great to have you with us. NFL on Fox Week 3. So the Cowboys start this drive inside their own 10-yard line, and they say, so what? We've done it twice, and we scored 2 touchdowns on it this year, which is obviously hard to do. Officially, this one from their own 8. And they will run it. Elliott patiently dances his way out across the 10. And you know, Charles, I mean, when you look at Elliott, who has been obviously the main focus of this team, and running through him, and they still will. But it has felt a little less reliant. Even Dak Prescott admitted, I agree, it's been less reliant, and that's a good thing for us. But Elliott, I thought, was so interesting talking about Kellen Moore, you know, and honest. He said, hey, you know what, I think teams used to know a lot of times when we were running, we just were better and beat them at the run. They don't know anymore.
No, with all the shifts and motion. I mean, we're talking probably 80% of what I've seen so far in this game. Cowboys starting every play with some type of a shift or a motion. And it's really the same plays people have seen. They're just dressing them up differently and taking your eyes to places maybe as a defender you shouldn't.
No, there is Kellen Moore, who is, he's getting up there. He's 30. Second year coaching in the league. He was a tremendous college quarterback at Boise State, and of course the backup quarterback here in Dallas. And that's the other part of the symmetry. He played with most of these guys.
Utah. And Zeke talked about it. He said he understands our strengths and weaknesses because he knew us as teammates.
Here's Prescott, third down. It's a three-man rush. That's it. Comes to Cooper on the in-cut. He's got a first down. Out to the 20-yard line. But you got to go back to this. You think about Kellen Moore, okay? And in 2016, Tony Romo gets hurt. Now they draft Dak Prescott. So technically, it's Kellen Moore's turn to shine. He fractures his ankle in preseason. And Dak Prescott said that moment, you think, you're obviously devastated, when they went to Dak. And Kellen said, you know what, you could tell he was special, so I was going to help any way he could. Prescott launching at 1,000,000 miles down the field. Double coverage, incomplete. Taking a shot to the speedster Devin Smith, but double coverage, and McCain was there again. Actually, I think, I'm sorry, Charles, it says a lot about Moore when he immediately loses his only chance in the NFL, and the first thing he does is support Dak Prescott.
But it tells you who he is as a person, as a teammate. The other part is, we talked with him, and I said, hey, with his father being a high school coach and won 4 state titles in Prosper, Washington, and raised in the game, I said, were you born to coach? And he said, well, I wouldn't say born, but I was definitely raised to. And he knew what his future calling was. And I think in his mind, he was already turning towards it when he decided to help Dak Prescott be the best he could be.
They clock down to 1, and he will get it off to Elliott. And a short gain on second down. It was great. Of course, I'm sure you've seen it now. Troy Aikman joked, oh, the pizza guy because he looks so young, and he is young. And Pam Oliver concluded the other day, you still get carded?
That was a great question. And he laughed. My favorite part was he kind of laughed and went, no, because I usually have my 3 kids with me. But you notice how he qualified it? In other words, maybe Pam was on to something, because if he didn't have the 3 kids, he might very well get carded.
That'd be third down. Here comes the blitz. It's picked up. Prescott throws it in the middle. Jarwin, good tackle, and he's short of a first down. Johnson Batamosi with a sure tackle, and it prevents the Cowboys from continuing the drive.
Let's give this Dolphins secondary some credit for how they're playing the game, having settled into it now. We got the McCain interception on the deep ball by Prescott late down the middle. Then the deep ball that Prescott tried to throw, and who was there to knock it away, help knock it away? McCain deep in coverage. And then, well, how about Batamosi right there with the open field tackle to stop Jarwin from picking up a first down. Patrick Graham, the first-year defense coordinator you just saw, got to be pleased by what he's seeing from his young Charges.
They're playing hard. Jakeem Grant, no fair catch at the 35, dances his way around, breaks a tackle, breaks another. Look at Grant still fighting, and that's a heck of an effort for 1 yard for Joe Thomas, dragged him down. 10:33 to go in this first half. Cowboys in front by 7. Aerial coverage is brought to you by State Farm today from AT&T Stadium. Arlington, Texas, glad to have you aboard. Along with Charles Davis, Pam Oliver, I'm Kevin Burkhardt, our entire NFL on Fox crew. Good game so far. Cowboys up by a touchdown. And you see the offensive line. It's been an issue for Miami. Well, the first 2 games, and we'll tell you why. But now even more of an issue because their left tackle, who we saw get hurt on their last drive, Jesse Davis, is still out. They move the rookie left guard, Michael Dieter, out to left tackle. They bring on Evan Bain to play left guard. We'll see how they hold up here. Rosen's got time. Looking, going to tuck it away and run it. And Rosen, the good pickup on first down. He's going to get about 8 yards, and he kind of got slammed in the ground at the end. See if he's okay.
It's like Covington getting to him in the back. It just ends up getting a little bit of extra there. Not anything malicious, not anything deliberate, just Covington hustling on the play. Hope he's just trying to get the pellets that come out of the field out of his eye.
Well, he might be coming out of the game right here. I mean, because the way he went down and grabbed his head, I think they have to take him out for a play unless the Dolphins call a timeout, which I think they just did. Because it was just such an awkward way he went down, and even if he is fine, you have to check now. It's the whole point of having the trainer upstairs to look.
And thank goodness, I think he or she buzzed in and said, take a look. And that's why this system is in place, to have those extra set of eyes up there to watch. And that's how the system's supposed to work. So hopefully he's going to be okay as he goes into the tent And here comes Ryan Fitzpatrick. The beard getting another opportunity.
The Dolphins did not call timeout. That whistle was just simply to stop play for Rosen, so he has to come out for at least one play.
Mike 5-5, Mike 5-5. Mike 20.
Here's Fitzpatrick. He'll hand it off to Drake. Spins off a tackle and runs into a wall. Penalty flags fly as well. And now there's a little extracurricular. And we'll see what the penalty flags are.
See how the lines are getting at each other a little bit?
There is no foul on the play. Third down.
The reason I brought that up, and we see Josh Rosen now outside of the tent, and I hope that's a good sign. But the reason I brought that up, the line's getting at each other a little bit. Miami's line came in, and we showed the graphic, how much they've been under siege this year. I think Dallas's defensive front came into this thinking, this is a week for us to get right. Pick up some sacks, make some big plays. They've not gotten that done so far. I think they might be a little bit frustrated with their inability to get to Rosen so far.
Third down, they give on the draw to Drake, and he has got a first down. Got a moment, let's check in for another game break.
All right, we check in Kansas City for our first touchdown pass of the day. Patrick Mahomes, nice grab by Demarcus Robinson, gets his feet down. Robinson's third touchdown in the last two games. They're up 14-6, Kevin.
Kurt, appreciate that. On first down, here is Fitzpatrick handing off to Drake again, running hard, gets to midfield for a short gain.
Did you see that footwork by Patrick Mahomes on the touchdown pass? If you're watching at home and you're a young quarterback, don't do that. That he can do that. Okay? Patrick Mahomes' footwork works for him because that arm is so superior. If you're a mere mortal, get your feet planted and make your throw.
Meanwhile, Josh Rosen went back in the tent, and I know Pam Oliver down there scoping that out. We'll get you news and see. But so far, with that, Fitzpatrick in the game, looking to throw it for the first time today, and he will. Gets it out to the far side to Drake. And it's going to bring up a third down and 2. Chidobe Awuzie was there on the stop. But Charles, I want to go back to this offensive line. You know, I told you about the injury to Davis. They signed 2 guys within a week of the season opener that have started for this team. So it's you figured over time they would get better.
You would figure over time, but the NFL waits for no one. And that's why New England got after him. That's why Baltimore got after him. 10 sacks allowed for the season. But I think today, even with Jesse Davis out of the lineup and Dieter going to left tackle, this line has done a very nice job here in the early going.
We talked about the Cowboys, only 2 sacks on the year. Fitzpatrick in trouble, gets out of one, now throws, gets decked down the field, and it's caught. A jump ball for Preston Williams, who's 6'5" and used all of it, goes up and gets it and converts on a third down and 2. It's good for 25 yards.
And the Dallas defensive front has 2 opportunities to get home. Dorrance Armstrong, 52 misses. Kerry Hyder, 51 misses. And then, as you noted, Kevin, the jump ball thrown for Preston Williams. He sees the play, lets Awuzie go by him a little bit, and goes up and grabs the football. This was a receiving core that last week was plagued by drops. Today, this receiving core is making plays.
And give Fitzpatrick credit for lofting it up. Again, Williams, 6'5", 218. A rookie free agent from Colorado State who was a second-team All-American last year. And Josh Rosen is warming up. Looks like he's going to come back in. Meanwhile, Christian Covington is down for the Cowboys, and that's important because Dallas without 2 of their defensive line starters today.
Yeah, Tyrone Crawford missing today's ball game, and also missing Antoine Woods, their defensive tackle, number 99. So how about these quarterbacks today? You know, we knew Dak Prescott was a little bit more of a mover. You don't think about it as much with Rosen. You don't think about it as much with Fitzpatrick. But Rosen and Fitzpatrick with their legs have created big plays for the Dolphins here in the first half.
First and 10, it's Balaj, who doesn't go very far to the right side. With Josh Rosen, Charles, tough situation last year, never got a chance to get better. Traded here. But you come in with Ryan Fitzpatrick, who's seen it all, and Josh Rosen said he's my favorite player in the NFL.
Yeah, I think, he called it like a big brother. I think it's more like a dad-son relationship with the way that Fitzpatrick's able to impart that knowledge to the youngster.
On second down, Rosen pressure, throws far side. He's got a completion. It is Grant who makes the catch. It'll bring him a 3rd and short. And here's something we told you coming into today, that the 2 games, Miami was negative 640 on the yardage. Well, guess what? They've got more yards than the Cowboys so far here today. 173 to 148, so that's quite a change.
They have battled this entire game. And there's Chad O'Shea, the offensive coordinator. First time calling plays in the league. But he's doing a nice job with a game plan here for this game. A lot of it with extra people staying in to protect Josh Rosen, to give him a little bit more time, and the receivers are doing a nice job downfield, winning one-on-one battles against the corners.
3rd and 4. Rosen gonna loft it, going for Williams, far side, and he dropped it at the end. It's incomplete. He had it for a touchdown, but could not complete the catch.
I can hear an old coach of mine right now. Everything but the catch. And you know what he always concluded with, Kevin? If you don't catch it, it doesn't matter what else you did. Now let's take a look and see. Because the ball gets to him. I think he's bobbling it there. Does he have possession right there? Is that long enough as Awuzie punches it out? He didn't complete the process of the catch.
You need 2 feet, or excuse me, control the ball, 2 feet or another body part down, and then a football move. Is that enough for a football move is the question.
And no one is challenging at all.
And it looks like it is going to stand as a touchdown. Wow.
I would have challenged with my record at 0-2 right here, with my team playing so well with an opportunity to put 7 on the board. If I'm Brian Flores, I'm challenging that one right
You
now.
have to look at it, right? I mean, because it certainly could go as a touchdown. Instead, the Dolphins settle for a field goal. 10-6 the score. Well, it was certainly a close play, ruled incomplete on the field, and we thought maybe that the Dolphins would challenge and give it a look, but they settled for a field goal, the second of the afternoon from Jason Sanders, and not sure if they thought about challenging, but we're going to go to Dean Blandino in a moment. I'll get his thoughts on if it could have been overturned. It was close.
I think that they got it right, but I still would have challenged with where I am in my season right now. If I'm Miami, you take that shot.
Just to take a look, go back to the play. Preston Williams was the guy trying to make it. Dean Blandino is in Los Angeles. Dean, as we look at the play here, what do you got?
Officials all over it, Dean.
Yeah. I know Cowboys fans are very excited about me telling them what a catch is. But here's the thing. When does he establish control of the football? This was very close. He may have control with that right foot down. Then does he take another step and have time to do something with it? I think it would have been an interesting decision had it gone to review. I do think they got it right initially.
Yeah, and so they settle for the field goal. Here come the Cowboys, get it to Pollard. Hey, Dean, I don't know if you're still with us, but just out of curiosity, if they rule that a touchdown and they review it, does it stay? Obviously, they do every score. Does it stay a touchdown?
I think it does. I think it does. I think it was that close that whatever they ruled on the field, I think they're going to stay with in that situation.
And right. Dean, I thought late in it, as we're going to let you go, and I thought late in it, Greg Meyer, the back judge, was right there looking into it. And I think he saw Awuzie's hand on the football, and that probably allowed him to say he doesn't have full control. Because Awuzie kept fighting all the way through and knocked it free. And I think that's probably where the call went.
Yeah, agree on all counts. Meanwhile, nice run by Tony Pollard. And a first down for the Cowboys. So with 5:01 to go in this first half, it's 10-6 Dallas. Dolphins have had their opportunities. You know, certainly could have made a play there, make the catch. They had a missed field goal. Cowboys have had a couple big plays in this one. And the touchdown to Amari Cooper.
What we got?
There's Pollard again. Trouble in the backfield. Gets away. Tony Pollard with a good run around the end as he creeps his way up to the 43-yard line. It'll be a second down and short. He picks up 7.
And look at the time that Tony Pollard has been getting here in the first 3 games, where he's getting like a full series to be the lead runner. Remember, he came here this summer and Zeke Elliott was holding out. He was in Cabo. So he got a lot of first-team reps. So as a normal rookie, when you come in, you don't get that amount of time. But Tony Pollard was able to get it during the preseason, and they really like how fast he gets to the hole as a runner.
Here's Prescott. Over the middle. Wide open. It's Randall Cobb who reverses field. Gets a block inside the 40. Hang on. We got a penalty back at the 43 of Dallas. And so let's see if this stands. It may not.
Doesn't look good for Dallas.
Illegal shift offense. Not all 11 players were set before the snap. 5-yard penalty remains second down.
So Dak thinking of the big play. Oh, come on.
Yeah, there's different ways when the shoulders slump, isn't there? Sometimes when the shoulders slump, that's good relaxation, like, okay, I'm in the groove. And sometimes it's just total disappointment. And that's what that was with Zach. Excuse me, with Dak.
Prescott pumps, rolls the other way, has time, and there's just nothing there. Good down the field coverage as the Dolphins were all over. It was Cooper and Cedric Wilson down the field, but they weren't open.
Great observation on the down the field coverage. Also up front, because they tried to, show the illusion that they were going to the left side with Owale, all right, the fullback. They fake it there, then they're going to come back and throw a screen to the backside. Guess what? The Dolphins read it the entire way. Didn't allow that receiver to get open. Dak had to get rid of it.
So a 3rd down and 9. Cowboys 4 of 6 on 3rd down today, including converting a 3rd and 20. Prescott, 4-man rush, pumps, trouble, resets, throws, incomplete. Good pressure from the Dolphins that time. He's trying to get it to Devin Smith. And the Dolphins are making this hard on Dak Prescott here this afternoon.
And Xavier Howard, the best cover corner for Miami. He's been going everywhere Amari Cooper's been going, number 19 in white, and he takes him away right there. The #1 target for Dallas downfield. Xavier Howard erased him on that play and helped force incompletion. And I think at the end of it, he let Amari know it too.
Today we told you, this offense has been humming at such a high level. Dolphins playing well, and also don't forget playing without Michael Gallup. He's been their leading receiver the first 2 weeks, so can throw things a little off kilter as the punt drops inside the 20. And that's where Miami will take over with 3:09 to go in this first half. Dolphins football down by 4. So here's Josh Rosen, who has not exactly had the easiest introduction to the NFL. So look, he was a 3-year starter at UCLA, great player, drafted 10 overall by the Cardinals, right? And he got 1 year, 13 starts total. That is all he got to show his wares there, because last season in those 13 games, they were 3-10. He was pressured all day. He did not play great a lot of the time. 11 touchdowns, 14 picks, got sacked 45 times. Dolphins said, hey, we're trying to figure it out. We're rebuilding. Let's take a chance. They traded 2 draft picks for him. He's the 3rd quarterback to start for his team that drafted him 1 year and a new team the next year. It's not very common. He's in trouble here. Dumps it off to Drake. Gets a block. Kenyon Drake, good cut. 1st down and more. Up the middle of the field, and Kenyon Drake has a big play for Miami. Out to the 36. It's a pickup of 19.
This offensive line continues to play well for Miami, whether it's protecting the passer, but look at him get out now and run. Kilgore, 67, nice block out front, and Kenyon Drake with good vision cuts it back after the initial open space to gain even more yardage for the Dolphins before he's tackled by Darian Thompson.
Near side, and it's the tight end Gesicki who has his first catch of the day.
I love that stat you mentioned. The 3rd quarterback to start for the team that drafted him 1 year and another team the 2nd year. And it tells you how fickle it is in terms of quarterbacks, because that went 2 ways. One of those quarterbacks is Jacoby Brissett, who's now starting for the Indianapolis Colts. The other is Spurgeon Wynn, who people won't really remember. Brissett, now a starter in the league. How's it going to go for Rosen? Well, I will tell you from what I'm seeing today, Terry Bradshaw said in our pregame show he should be the starter the rest of the year, and he thinks he's a starting quarterback in the NFL. What he's seeing is validating what Terry said in our pregame show.
Yep, he's trying to prove it today. Look, he got banged up, had to leave the game, check for a concussion. That didn't look good, but then he's back in the game. He's smiling. Dolphins in this football game. 2-minute warning. 10-6 Cowboys over the Dolphins, but Miami football 2nd and 5 on their own 41. 2 minutes to go in the first half.
And if I'm Miami right now, look at that, 8 of 11 completion for 10 or more yards. I would max protect again and take another big shot downfield with Rosen.
They will hand off instead, and they get a pretty good run out of it to Kenyon Drake.
Got a first down, too.
And that'll move the chains with 3 timeouts for each team, so time really isn't a factor. And I kind of like what you said about, the Cowboys. Frustrating, right? Because it looked like the way they started, man, they're moving and grooving. And this defense against this offensive line, if there's any knock against Dallas in the early going, it's getting to the quarterback. Only 2 sacks so far this year.
They woke up this morning, Kevin, thinking their sack totals would go up, and they haven't so far.
Rosen stands in, hits over the middle, and there is Jakeem Grant, who gets into Dallas territory, picks up 5.
I would put the pressure on him if I'm Chad O'Shea, the Miami offensive coordinator. Get that max protection in again, give Rosen a chance, and let Preston Williams, 18, Devontae Parker, 11, get downfield and try and get some one-on-ones and go for a big play.
Here we go. Hey, there's 4 down, 50 balls to Mike. Finish for Mike. Man, hey.
Cowboys show blitz. Here they come. Rosen sees it. Ball is dropped. They came with a corner blitz, and Rosen got rid of it, but Jakeem Grant dropped it. Let's get a game break quickly with Carissa Thompson.
Thanks, Kevin. Broncos Packers tied at 10. Joe Flacco sacked by Preston Smith. Fumble is recovered here by Green Bay. Setting up 2 plays later, Aaron Jones scores. Packers up 17-10. Kevin.
Yeah, Jones had a good start to the year so far for Green Bay, Carissa. Thanks. Packers are 2-0. Here a 3rd down and 6 for the Dolphins. 53 seconds to go in this first half.
Got Parker up there, isolated.
Blitz coming. Rosen stands in, throws deep for Parker, gets decked, incomplete, and there's a penalty flag. Awuzie on the coverage. And so they saw that matched up. They liked it. They went up top.
Awuzie can fly, but Parker has size as well. And see how he sees the football? And as he goes for it, Awuzie doesn't, and he has to go right through Awuzie to try and get the ball.
Defense, number 24. Ball will be advanced to the spot of the foul. Automatic first down.
See, if Awuzie is able to get his head around and turn back inside, he'll just body Parker away from the ball and there'll be no flag. But since he doesn't see it, Parker does. Parker actually was very intelligent on that play. Just go right through the defensive back, draw the attention there of the officials, and a flag for big yardage.
26-yard penalty, 48 seconds to go. Dolphins with a chance to take the lead here. From the 23. Rosen, pressure up the middle, set it up for a screen for Drake. Has some blocking. Kenyon Drake to the 15, spinning his way forward to what will be another first down as the clock ticks down to 40. Dolphins with all 3 timeouts, though, so it's not even a factor. And we do get a timeout on the field. There is Miami's first of the first half with 40 seconds to go as Chad O'Shea looking at the next play. While we have a moment, let's check in with Kurt Menefee.
Walk with me through the Visa halftime as the undefeated Ravens take on the undefeated Chiefs. We'll see if the Jets can get their first win of the season against the unbeaten Patriots. And Buffalo will try to go to 3-0. We'll walk you through it all coming up on the Visa halftime. Ooh.
Even Kurt's got the wink.
Throw that wink down.
He's got it all.
Kevin, not only has this Miami offense moved the ball well in the first half, they've kept the ball, and they've allowed their defense to actually get a break for the first time this season.
Here's Rosen, back to throw over the middle. Tapped it, almost intercepted right in Parker's hands.
Wow, that about erased all the good Devontae Parker has done in the first half, because that looked a lot like last week against New England. Excellent opportunities. Ball cannot be thrown better. Catch the football, young man. That's all Brian Flores and his staff. Chad O'Shea, the offense coordinator. Catch the football. Okay, I mean, Rosen couldn't go out there and hand it to him any better than that ball was thrown.
That's 3 drops today. It's been a big problem all year long. And so it brings up a 2nd down and 10. Rosen pumps, throws, knocked away Jalen Smith, and we get a penalty. Not to the naked eye, it looked like a great play from Jalen Smith, but let's go see.
Right in the middle of the screen, and they see the grab there by Smith. That's the call. Then he has a hook on the backside before he knocks the ball away.
Before the pass, holding, defense, number 54. 5-yard penalty, automatic first down.
The crowd's not going to like it. That's a good call, and I believe that came from the back judge, Greg Meyer. Spotted it all the way. He's back there right in the middle of the goalposts. Spied that the entire time. Saw the hold initially, the hook, and the flag's coming out before the ball's even thrown. And of course, it looks like a nice play at the end.
Look at this. The Dolphins have been miserable just holding on to the football last by a long shot. Well, today, they are winning that time of possession battle by 3 minutes over the Cowboys. After the penalty, it's a 1st and goal. It's Drake spinning his way and losing the football. It's on the ground. Who's got it? The Cowboys recover. A tremendous drive goes away in a poof with a Drake fumble and a DeMarcus Lawrence recovery.
The swipe right there by Jalen Smith, number 54. A lot of the time, he'll knock balls free with great contact. In this case, as he's making the move in the hole with Drake, his hand comes out and pops the ball free, and Dallas recovers. A huge missed opportunity for the Miami Dolphins. And it's been a frustrating start to the year for Kenyon Drake.
It sure has.
I mean, absolutely frustrating. Thought he was going to be the starter when the season began. Kalen Ballage has gotten the start until today. Inconsistent playing time. He thought he'd get a little bit more, but trying to keep his head up and go to work, and had a chance to make a monster play there and coughs it up.
Now the Cowboys with 25 seconds left, but all 3 timeouts here, and they will just run it to Elliott right up the middle. Ezekiel Elliott out to the 20. Where they will call a timeout, and why not, with 19 seconds to go. You know, it's interesting. So here are the Dolphins. You think about, you know, why are you 0-2? Okay, well, you've had 3 drops, big ones. You've had, one of them was a touchdown. You had an onside kick you recovered, but you're offside. Then you fumble after a great drive. These are the things that add up, because they've actually, I think, played better than the Cowboys.
They have. They've outplayed them in so many ways. You got an offensive line that came in giving up 10 sacks on the year, gave up 7 just last week. Guess what? They haven't given up any so far. There's been a little bit of pressure, but not what you would have expected from the Dallas Cowboys. And I think that Josh Rosen is handling himself quite well for his first start at quarterback with the Miami Dolphins.
Yeah, MIA in the red zone indeed. Run it again. Elliott on his feet out to the 30 and out to the 34 with 12 seconds to go. And what those 2 runs do is now you can take a shot, right? Maybe you get one more pass, call a timeout, either at least attempt a Hail Mary.
And maybe you end up at worst getting the pass interference call that the Dolphins just got, because that changes yardage in such a big way. And maybe you can try out Brett Maher for a big opportunity to finish it. That's the thinking. That's the thought process. Let's see what Miami has to say about it, because that secondary in the first half has played awfully well after the early blitz by Dallas.
13 seconds ago, 1 timeout left for Dallas before the half. 3-man rush. Prescott over the middle, and it's incomplete. Randall Cobb, the intended receiver, and that'll leave 8 seconds remaining.
So here's Devontae Parker working on Chidobe Awuzie, and he gets a drop pass interference call. That helps Miami. Here's another hold pass interference for Jalen Smith. That benefits Miami. And then they give it all back on the fumble by Kenyon Drake and the recovery by Dallas.
8 seconds ago, they'll run it to Elliott, who's got a big hole and gets up near midfield, and they got 1 timeout left, and they'll call it. So at the very least, you got a chance to hurl it towards the end zone with the arm of Dak Prescott and take one last chance. If you're wondering, by the way, Brett Maher has a 62-yard field goal in his belt. I don't think he's hitting one from here.
That's going to be a little bit longer than what may be in his golf bag. I mean, he hits the big dog pretty well, but boy, that's a lot to ask. But Dak Prescott has enough arm. Hurl it down there and see what happens.
70-yarder would be a lot to ask.
That's a bunch, considering the NFL record still stands at 64.
So last play of the first half, unless there's a penalty, 8 defensive backs on the field for Miami, and they all retreat. way deep. Prescott. Time. Dancing. Throwing high in the air, deep in the end zone. It's into the Hail Mary, and it's knocked down and incomplete. It's taken down by Chris Lamons, a backup cornerback who made the play. So a tight first half here from Arlington. The Cowboys got off to a quick start. They were up 10-0 in this game. Touchdown to Amari Cooper. But the Dolphins, despite all their mistakes, kept playing hard, kept hanging around. They had an interception, and they've got a couple field goals on the board, and that's why it's a 4-point Dallas lead at the half. But you know what? When you're a team that has been outscored 102-10 in the first 2 weeks, you can almost celebrate this going to the locker room.
You will take this, and it's really good momentum for them to go into the locker room.
And so it's a 4-point lead for the Cowboys at the break from Texas. The only touchdown, Amari Cooper from 5 yards out. Halftime show with Kurt and the guys comes your way next. Today's game flow brought to you by Progressive. Tight first half for the Cowboys in front of the Dolphins, 10-6 as we get set for the third quarter here from Arlington, Texas. And you know, the Dolphins down by 4. Quite honestly, a lot of misplays that could have been up in this game very easily. So the Cowboys in some ways may feel a little fortunate. After a red hot start, they were up 10-0 in this game, but they will receive the second half kickoff, and here we go. Started things off. Tony Pollard will let it go into the end zone, and the Cowboys will start off on their own 25. And so Dallas, which was red hot the first 2 weeks, everything they did turned out right. Not today. They had a good start, but their offense is trying to figure it out since that point.
And a Miami team where everything went wrong, they've hung in there and fought today. Dallas, I think, has been a little frustrated, especially on the defensive side, where they thought they'd get more pressure on the passer. That hasn't happened. See if that frustration goes away. And let's see if Miami is satisfied with one good half of play or if they want more. Because sometimes when you haven't had success, Kevin, you get that one good half in, you're like, okay, we're good. Let's see if they want to take it the rest of the way.
Interesting to see how Dallas starts off the half here. They were started off by running to Tony Pollard, and that is not going to go very far. So the first half numbers, both these teams not playing like the teams we saw the first 2 weeks of the season. I mean, the Dolphins in the first half had more yards basically than they've been averaging per game. And then the Cowboys, we told you, off to that red hot start, but not getting a lot of pressure on the defensive side of the ball. And Prescott, 9 of 20, 106 yards, a touchdown, and an interception. But in fairness, I think the Dolphins secondary has played well. 2nd and 9. 4-man rush. Prescott lofting it. Beauty to Randall Cobb, who breaks through. Randall Cobb and a flag too. On his horse all the way. Touchdown. But let's see on the flag. Hang on. It would be a 74-yard touchdown to Randall Cobb.
Do we have 2 flags? Was there one back by the quarterback as well?
I see the one way down the field at the 20. I don't see any back there. Dak is pointing and hoping.
So watch it. 18 in white just comes right down the seam and goes across field. A little bit of an over route against Wiltz, the nickelback. And then there's a missed tackle in the secondary by McCain, and he's off to the races. And this could be a face mask here with McCain on the missed tackle, which is correct. That was spotted, but I thought that there was another foul back near the line of scrimmage. It could be a hold against Dallas, so we could have offsetting penalties.
Well, the Cowboys are moving back. Let's get the call.
There were 2 fouls on the play. Holding offense. Number 52, personal foul, face mask, defense. Number 28. Those penalties offset, remain 2nd down.
Wow. So the hold on Connor Williams takes a 74-yard touchdown pass to Randall Cobb off the board.
Remember, Connor Williams was a left tackle in college. and moved inside to guard last year, had his struggles at left and right guard, and right there against Devon Godchaw, he ends up getting the hold as Godchaw gets upfield and puts the pressure on Dak Prescott. There's Dak Prescott saying, all right, shake it off. Let's start over.
That's what they'll do. Second down and 9.
Hey, we gotta go to SLM. Drag.
It's only a 3-man rush this time. Prescott has time. Now he's going to roll and fire on the run. A good throw and catch. It's Smith who makes the turn. Devin Smith still on his feet. Down to the 40. Nice throw, nice catch, and a heck of a move from Devin Smith and a 33-yard gain.
And I'm seeing real growth and development in Devin Smith's game, because coming out of Ohio State, most of what he did was vertical. Deep downfield, over the top. Look at him come back for the football and then shake off the tackle downfield by Lamont. Well done. That's the second time I've seen Devin Smith be physical in his route running.
On the play fake, Prescott another dart. It's Cobb, and all of a sudden, even with the penalty, Cowboys finding a rhythm here. Cobb down to the 21. It's another first down.
On the previous play, Dak Prescott used his legs to create extra space. Kellen Moore comes right back with a movement pass for Dak Prescott. Faking the stretch run to the left, he comes back to the right on a mini bootleg and throws a dart inside to Randall Cobb.
Here's Elliott on the give. And not much. Let's go down to the sidelines with Pam Oliver.
Well, Kevin, apparently they hurt him because Jason Garrett told me at the half that he didn't feel like his offense wasn't playing good enough. He says we were not consistent the way we needed to be. Defensively, he said, as far as Josh Rosen goes, we need to get near him. We got to get to him. We are harassing him, but we're not sacking him. We can do better there. As for Miami, Brian Flores told me too many big plays left out on the field. We cannot afford that. He also said the Cowboys, they're going to make offensive adjustments. We got to match their fury.
Pam, thanks. That's what they're trying to do now. Prescott to the end zone. Touchdown. It's another one for Amari Cooper. Adjustments made, Pam.
Watch the motion by Cooper coming back across the formation. This is a big wrinkle that Dallas has added to in their offense this year. A lot of that allows Dak Prescott to identify whether they're playing man or zone. He's able to read the coverage because of the movement by Cooper. And look at the eyes, taking him right back to his primary target, and a nice contested catch by Cooper for a second touchdown of the day.
Already 4 touchdowns on the year for Amari Cooper. Extra point is up and good. Pretty impressive, right? I mean, the 74-yard touchdown taken off the board because of the penalty. It doesn't matter. Cowboys go right down the field. 19 yards, number 2 from Cooper. 17-6 Cowboys. Oh, that's a heck of a start to the third quarter. Dallas, as Jason Garrett told Pam Oliver, you know, sluggish. They weren't in sync on offense. So what does he do after a 74-yard penalty? After a 74-yard touchdown, take it back for penalty. He just marches him right down the field. You see how fired up he is. Amari Cooper, it's another 2-touchdown game. He's got 3 of them as a Cowboy. He had 5 the rest of his career total. And Prescott in the third quarter, Charles, it's been his quarter to start the year. So clearly whatever he's doing in the game, regroups at half and comes out on fire in that third quarter, as he did on that drive where he was perfect.
You think he'd tell us what he does at halftime to read? Because I'd like to get some of that myself.
Yeah, I just ate a lot.
Can I put some of that in my life?
I'm sure he didn't do that. But
No.
You see the numbers. Perfect quarterback rating in the third quarter this year. And he started slowly last week in Washington, too, for the offense got in a groove and really took off second, especially third quarter, fourth quarter. Now it's Josh Rosen's turn, who made some nice plays in the first half. 11 of 22, 156 yards. And had multiple drops, which didn't help either. Pressure coming against Rosen. They send a blitz. Rosen rolls and just gets out of harm's way. Gets jacked out of bounds. And no penalty flag.
And I'm surprised by initial look. I can't wait to see the replay because I thought a forearm came up around the shoulder, above the shoulders on Josh Rosen. Let's take a look. There's the pursuit. Nope, the shoulder is below the shoulders. It's underneath the armpit, and the time See, but right there, and the left hand is what you could have flagged him for, but it happened so quickly. The right arm underneath the armpit, that's legal. It's the left hand to the face that could very well have been missed. Robert Quinn so excited to be back playing. He's pursuing him into the stands.
Yeah, he is. Here's Parker who makes the catch and a first down for the Dolphins. Well, the first 2 weeks, this Dolphins offense just couldn't move. I mean, that was the biggest issue. You look 5 points per game. Not that they're lighting it up today, Charles, but they've done some nice things. They've hit on the big play in Rosen's starting debut for Miami.
And all those numbers are terrific. For me, you know what the biggest number was that you pointed out in the first half was time of possession. They finally have allowed their defense to actually get a real breather, because they have not done that in games 1 or 2.
And here's Balaj right up the middle for a 5-yard gain.
You know, in games 1 and 2, the defense just lived on the field. You know, I mean, against Baltimore, I think Baltimore had 40-something minutes of time possession. That no one can play well throughout a game if that's going against you. Today, this offense is taking care of the football, controlling the clock a little bit, and while they may be down on the scoreboard, they're actually giving their defense a fighting chance.
And we get a flag.
False start, offense. Number 67, 5-yard penalty, remaining second down.
And that's against the center. Is there something he did with the football? Yeah, I mean, typically you don't get the false start with the center controlling things and starting the play. Daniel Kilgore, number 67. Football, head bob in there. Could have been something like that against Kilgore. There's Preston Williams, the undrafted free agent out of Colorado State. Started his career at Tennessee and has been so impressive in the early going for Miami.
On 2nd and 10, they will run it. And it's Balaj who goes nowhere. Well played. Anthony Brown from the secondary. And Dolphins, you know, playing much better than they did in weeks 1 and 2, which, I mean, let's face it, could play much worse. But the mistakes in this game, this is a missed 47-yard field goal. And then again, here's an easy one that was dropped over the middle. And then after a nice drive, a couple penalties on Dallas, the fumble by Drake at the end of the half. They would have at least gotten a field goal out of that. Onside kick that they had, but they were offsides.
When you're outscored 102-10 for the season, your margin of error is razor thin.
Play clock at 2, 3rd and long. Pressure coming from Quinn, and he gets to him. Robert Quinn in his Cowboys debut. He's been getting close. Now he gets home for the sack.
But what did Pam Oliver tell us that Jason Garrett told her? That our guys have to affect the quarterback. They didn't do enough of that in the first half. And here comes Quinn from the left side of your screen. Ends up beating Michael Dieter, who started this game as a guard. Had to kick out to tackle with the injury to Jesse Davis, their normal starting left tackle. And Quinn finally able to get home.
Only the 3rd sack of the year for the Cowboys. 1st sack of the day for anyone. Hawk has a booming kick. And Wilson all the way back to the 11. Here's Wilson. Decent return off a great punt out to the 25. So Robert Quinn, 2-time Pro Bowler, Cowboys debut, comes home, gets a sack. And how do you celebrate it? Little Happy Gilmore doing the bull dance, feeling the flow, feeling it. Last drive coming out of the break, Dak Prescott was on fire. Here to Devin Smith, and then on the move, perfectly placed, Randall Cobb. He's going to find Amari Cooper in a tight window over the middle. Remember, he had a beauty of a pass to Randall Cobb on a 74-yard touchdown that was called back too. So after a first half where they were a little out of sync after a hot start, and not only a Prescott, but everybody just a little off kilter. Well, started off great, and now how will they do on their second possession?
I think they got frustrated on offense as well in the first half because things started so easily. And then it didn't come as easily the rest of the half.
Here is Witten, who makes a catch across the 30.
After this play, I've got a question. for our Hall of Famer.
Second down. It's Elliott to the outside. First down and more. Ezekiel Elliott spinning his way near midfield, but hang on. There's a penalty flag. Back right around the first down marker. And Zeke might have to wait to eat a little bit here. Might be another penalty on the Cowboys.
Holding offense. Number 71. 10-yard penalty. Remaining second down.
This La'el Collins has played so well this season. Coming right at you. Watch the big guy right here, 71 in white. Yeah, he doesn't block him as much as he hugs him up. That's Walt Aikens, the safety, trying to make a play. But Collins, don't let that penalty fool you. He's been a monster in the early going at right tackle for Dallas.
So it'll move it back, be a second down and 12.
47 is down. 47. Yeah, you're out. Okay, yeah, 55. Yeah. Hey, we're going 55 down low. No. You're out there. You're on 47.
A lot of chatter. Here's Prescott firing, and he's got a man far side that hits Witten, making the move. Look at Jason Witten. You're not supposed to be able to move like that at 37 years old, Charles, but he just did it for a first down.
Well, he had a year off, so he's got fresh legs, Kevin. He feels good about it. Pam Oliver, you gave us a great report at the half. Do you think that Jason Garrett feels like his message is getting through here as we start the second?
I think he does. Remember, guys, he's always talking about it's not anything other than it's about us. That's what we have to focus on, not what they're going to do to make defensive adjustments. We got to be concerned about us. Offensively, he wants consistency for this half, and we're seeing a nice effort so far to get going in that direction.
It's a great reminder about their mantra here in Dallas.
First down. Prescott has time, and it's going to check it down short to Elliott. Oh, good tackle. That's a nice tackle by Sam Aquavin, who is a first-year player out of Texas Tech. A pretty cool story, actually, because he spent the last 3 years in the Canadian Football League. And even better because he grew up in Garland, Texas, right around here. So cool for him.
Yeah, he was in Saskatchewan for 3 years. Very happy to come back to Miami. Fall out a little bit. He played well up in Canada. That's what got the attention of the Dolphins. He's been a starter all year.
On second down. A little option play to Pollard using the speed to the outside. And Tony Pollard has a first down. So Kellen Moore dipping in the bag of tricks. Dak Prescott going back to Mississippi State, and it's a first down.
Now watch Collins, 71. We just flagged him for a hold. Look at him get upfield and get to the second level for the big block out front. That allows Pollard to cut up inside as he blocks it on McCain. Look at him just kind of get good leverage, good body lean, kind of goes underneath to pick up the additional yardage. How about that option there? They didn't have Dak Prescott really challenge the corner. It's just the illusion of it. It's a good look. It's what you call speed option. Make sure the tailback gets the ball.
Pollard again, giving Elliott a rest and a short gain. With that, another game break. Let's check in with Carissa Thompson.
Thanks, Kevin. Ravens trailing 23-6 in KC with Lamar Jackson hands it off to Mark Ingram, who does the rest of the work. 19 yards, his second of the day. Probably doesn't like the finish on that one, but likes the result in terms of score. Chiefs still up in this one, 23-13.
Did you see him punching the side there? It reminds me of Vi Sikahema. Remember when Vi was playing with the Eagles?
I do.
Punched the goalpost on the punt return.
Gus Farrant did it with his head. Remember?
Yeah, I think Vi's way was better.
Agreed.
Gus got hurt. The wall punched back.
Ezekiel Elliott back in the game, lines up out wide. Prescott hit as he throws, going out there, got him. Elliott makes the catch, first down. You know, Ezekiel Elliott really, his pass, his effort in the pass game really ramped it up last year. 77 receptions. It was more than he had, Charles, the first 2 years. And he had a simple explanation. He said, you know, I was always kind of out there, but what I found last year is I like getting 6 yards without getting hit as opposed to running through 3 guys to get 6 yards.
That was a great quote, right? And speaking of strength and being able to break tackles, how about the strength of Dak Prescott on the blind side hit on the backside there, staying in there. Charles Harris on his back, completing the pass.
Prescott. Time. It's a wall. Man open. Cooper has it at at the 20, and he's forced out of bounds at the 19-yard line. It's Amari Cooper. He's having himself a day. Couple of touchdowns. That's already his 6th catch for 88 yards.
Are we not watching a quarterback in ultimate control and at the top of his confidence game right now in Dak Prescott? How he's orchestrating what we're listening to.
55, 55, you got 30.
Elliott, good cuts. Ezekiel Elliott inside the 10, and a 1st and goal for the Cowboys.
So watch him. He sees it here, but he also sees the cut back there. Watch the vision. Connor Williams, 52, takes his guy. Okay, if he wants to go there, I'll cut back inside of you, Connor Williams. Thank you for the block.
Fake to Elliott. Prescott looking, gonna run it. Dak Prescott for touchdown.
Running game continues to be their #1 threat. So off of the bootleg, Witten clears space. No sense throwing it when he has a lane to the end zone. And the legs of Dak Prescott have been in evidence here today, creating extra time to throw it and now taking them into the end zone.
What a 3rd quarter for the Cowboys. A little sluggish in the 1st half, but in this 3rd quarter, Prescott has been ramping it up. Couple of touchdown drives, and he took it himself that time, and it's 24-6. It's been quite a 3rd quarter for Dak Prescott and the Cowboys. He has led this team to 2 impressive scoring drives. Ezekiel Elliott gives him congrats to the offensive line. It was a 5-play, 75-yard drive and a 9-play, 76-yard drive. And on that last drive, Charles, you touched on it, and we tried to let you hear it. I thought outstanding. His communication, getting to the line early, moving everybody around. Now the growth of this young quarterback on display.
It's Arthur Fiedler. He's orchestrating.
Love it. And now Josh Rosen and this Dolphins offense have their work cut out for them. Just 6 days, it's champ against champ as Errol the Truth Spence Jr. takes on Showtime Sean Porter in a World Championship unification bout at Staples Center. Plus champion Anthony Durrell defends his title against David Benavidez. Saturday 9 Eastern, 6 Pacific, live on pay-per-view, or you can order it on the Fox Sports app.
See the abs on the Truth?
The Truth.
Did you see those abs?
I did. And Awuzie got his hands on it. He was out of bounds.
But that's another one off the hands of the intended receiver for Miami who had the first shot at it. I believe that was Preston Williams, number 18. It looked like a ball that he had a chance to make a play on. He pops it in the air. Awuzie comes down with it. Fortunately for Miami, he's out of bounds. But another one through the hands of these receivers. And when those things get popped up in the air, the result usually isn't good.
55, 65 is Mike. 54, 180. Watch it high. 180.
Second down. Rosen pumps far side of the field. It's caught by Grant. It'll be a 3rd down and short.
Kevin, we came into this game talking about the Miami receivers needing to make plays, and last week they had too many drops or bobbles. You know, good job there going down to game that pass after the last one went through his hands. Here's the one previous hands. Now it was contested. Byron Jones did contest it, but those are types of plays that when you're 0-2 and you're struggling, your receivers have to do a little bit extra and make those catches.
I haven't done that yet this year. 3rd and 4, Cowboys show blitz, but they back off. Rosen still has pressure, steps away from it. Now is going to slide short of a 1st down. Not much he could do there as Cowboys got good pressure, and it'll be a 4th down coming up for Miami. It looks like they're thinking of going for it. And now they send the special teams unit on the field.
Yeah, with the way that Dallas's offense is humming in this half, you turn it over there, you might as well just put 6 up on the board.
Yeah.
They want to give their defense at least an opportunity to try and defend.
Really,
No, go ahead, Fudge.
I'm going to say, really, both sides of the Cowboys have stepped it all right. Well, we showed you the offense, but how about this defense, too?
I think the frustration has tamped down, and they're just back to playing football. Because I really think that they came into this one, as much as they didn't talk about it, they thought today would be a day they could do anything they felt like doing against Miami, and that frustrated them early when it didn't happen that way.
Human nature, in a way, right?
Listen, that's just who we all are. When you look at the numbers, it's hard to convince your team to be ready to play when that other team's been outscored 102-10.
Chris Richard's got this defense playing at a higher level in this second half. All Dallas so far. Aerial coverage is brought to you by State Farm today from AT&T Stadium in Arlington, Texas. Cowboys have dominated this third quarter. It was 10-6 at the half. It's 24-6 now, and they'll go back to the ground game for a short game with Tony Pollard.
KB, I was struck by something our Hall of Famer Pam Oliver said when she was talking about reminding us that Jason Garrett always says, look, when we go into a game, sure, we scout the opponents, but truthfully, it's about us. What are we going to do? And Jason told us in our meeting, on offense, we aggressively take what you give up, and sometimes we aggressively take what we want. That's what they want in their offensive unit. This second half has been an example of that quote.
By the way, did you see that number we just put up? Dak Prescott has missed 1 pass in the second half the entire year. Back to throw. Think about that.
Let's see if we put the whammy on him here.
I probably did. Looking. And he's taken down for a sack. Just couldn't find anyone down the field. And guess who got it? Taco Charlton, the ex-Cowboy who was just released, picked up, and he's getting time today. Now, granted, he may have had 28 seconds to throw the ball, but you get the idea. It's only his 5th career sack.
Look, Taco's going to celebrate it no matter what. That had to be a strange day for him. If you think about it, this is home, right? This is where he's been for 3 years. He woke up in a hotel here in the local area, got on a team bus to come here, and went to the visitors' locker room in a place he's always gone to the other side. Had to be a little bit of a strange morning for Taco.
It's a 3rd and long, 13 to be exact. Pressure up the middle. They set up a screen to Pollard. Gets a block, gets another. Pollard racing forward, and he's close, but he's going to be a yard shy of a first down. And that will take us to the end of the third quarter as the Cowboys sent the punt team on to punt it away. But a dominating third quarter for the Dallas Cowboys. They outscored the Dolphins 14-0, and they're in control here in Big D, 24-6. Well, the Cowboys have the most impressive practice facility I've ever seen in Frisco, Texas. Here are the Cowboys walking through, and of course their wares on display beautifully. And the stadium's not too bad either, Charles. AT&T Stadium that Jerry Jones has built and welcomes us in with open arms every time we're here. But yeah, quite something to look at, both places.
I think they did pretty well for $1.2 billion. Yeah, I think he did okay.
I do
mildly. I mean, this place is a Taj Mahal.
Stephen Jones on the left, Jerry Jones Jr. on the right, and they've built quite the team, let alone the facilities here in Dallas, as the Cowboys looking to go to 3-0 on this young season. Here's the punt, and ball is dropped. It's loose on the floor. It's still loose. It's out of bounds, and it'll stay with Miami. So we now have a moment to celebrate Super Bowl VI. Let's hear from Dick Stockton.
Navy veteran Roger Staubach took command of the Dallas Cowboys in 1971, leading the team to Super Bowl VI against the Miami Dolphins. In an epic matchup containing 14 total Hall of Famers, Dallas dominated, winning 24-3 and securing their first NFL championship.
Thank you, Dick. Roger Staubach, a couple of touchdown passes in that game, 252 yards rushing.
Dwayne Thomas, big game on the ground, nearly 100 yards. One of the great quotes ever in post-game at his interview. Are you really that fast, Dwayne? Evidently.
Pressure from Quinn. Rosen senses, steps away, looking, firing. He's got a man wide open, knocked away at the last moment by Brown. Anthony Brown prevented a big play to Jakeem Grant, and it's incomplete.
Rosen did a really nice job getting away from the pressure of Robert Quinn in the pocket and gets outside, but the ball hangs on him just a little bit because Grant has to stop. And Jeff Heath comes through on the bottom part, and I know that's something he does not want to do. Gets caught. See that hit there? And that's the one that the receivers just fear big time. They'd much rather be taken in the body than in their legs like that.
Drake slips a tackle and works his way into Jalen Smith. Game break time once again. Let's go back to Carissa Thompson.
Thanks, Kevin. So Lions up 20-17 in Philly. Matt Stafford connects with Marvin Jones for this 12-yard score. Lions up 27-17 on the road. Kevin?
Interesting. So the Lions try to go 2-0-1. And for the Eagles, Charles, who are all banged up, they've got a short week against Green Bay. So that's a pivotal game for them too early.
Green Bay on the road, right? That Lions team who had such a bad end of the game in the season over against Arizona, many thought same old Lions. Doesn't appear that way if this score holds up.
3rd and 3. Rosen standing in, going down. And the Cowboys have another sack. It's Malik Collins to force the punt.
And that's going to warm the heart of defense coordinator Rod Marinelli, who handles the defensive line. Leon Lett, the assistant defensive line. It's that whole group here. Look at what they're getting done. Look at the pressure they're putting up the middle. Hyder, 51, is there first. Collins ends up knocking him down. Robert Quinn upset he didn't get a piece of that one. But that's what's going to make Rod Marinelli, Chris Richard so happy, that inside pressure to help out Tank Lawrence and Robert Quinn off the edge.
Well, there's a penalty as Anthony Brown ran in to hawk the punter. Here's Wilson on the return. And it was a 4th and 12, so if it's just running into the kicker, it's just a 5-yard penalty. If it's roughing, it'll be a first down. Let's see. Did he get the plant leg?
He didn't get much of him, but when he's up in the air like that.
Personal foul, roughing the kicker, defense, number 30, 15-yard penalty. Automatic first down.
They get full protection when they're exposed like that on the follow through, and they're up in the air like that. Even if it's not much of a bump, they get the full protection right there, and that's why you end up getting the roughing.
And you could see he's like, I was trying to hold on. He knew it. He was trying to slow down, but
you see, Mr. Official, what I was trying to do.
I was just giving him a hug.
You know, it's all love. And he's trying to explain to Jay-Z, see, this is all I was trying to do. And Jay's like, yeah. Are you kidding me? We were getting the ball back.
By the way, Jason Garrett not having it.
No. Still getting a minus on your sheet, man.
Well, this one not over. Dolphins get a new chance. Down 24-6. Ball is tipped in the air and incomplete. That was dangerous. That's Joe Jackson, the rookie out of Miami. 5th-round draft pick is the man who got his mitts on it, but it falls harmlessly to the turf.
And he's a big reason why Taco Charlton is in Miami now. Taco Charlton was a 1st-round pick, never played up to standards. Joe Jackson gives them what they love to call position flexibility, a defensive end that they kick inside the tackle with pass rushing skills. Had 22.5 sacks at the University of Miami.
Tipped again at the line of scrimmage. That time it was Christian Covington.
Remember, they're missing 2 of their better defensive linemen in Tyrone Crawford and Antoine Woods. Good fundamental football right there. Can't get to the passer, get your hands up in the passing lane. And that one goes awry.
Charles, Cowboys have been excellent on 3rd down defensively this year. They came into today holding teams to 20%, and the Dolphins are 3 of 11, which is 27%. This is a 3rd and 10. Showing blitz, and the Dolphins moved, I do believe.
False start, offense, number 76. 5-yard penalty, remains 3rd down.
And the 3rd penalty. They'll move the Dolphins back. Brian Flores, first-year head coach. Team has played much better this week, but they've been dominated in the second half. Just 10-6 at the break. 3rd and 15 right here. Cowboys back off the blitz. They get pressure anyway. Here comes Jalen Smith. Rosen just going to fire it way down the field. It's tipped and incomplete. He just threw it up there, see if Devontae Parker could make a play, but the Cowboys were all over it. Awuzie was there, got help from a couple of others, and now they'll try the punt again. Gets the left leg into it. Penalty flag flies on the complete opposite side of the field. And we'll uncover this one. Johnson Batamosi maybe saying face mask. Who knows? We'll see. Let's look. Is he right?
Batamosi is the gunner. Look at him right there, and you see Byron Jones trying to grab him, and he grabs the mask.
Personal foul, face mask against the receiving team, number 31. That penalty is enforced half the distance to the goal from the end of the kick. First down, timeout.
Timeout for us too. Cowboys 24-6 in the 4th quarter. Super Bowl 6, Cowboys defeated the Dolphins, 14 Hall of Famers in that game. Incredible. And here are the names of the players in that game. It was the Cowboys won 24-3. So many great players. Fast forward to today. It's 24-6 Dallas, and here's Ezekiel Elliott. Over 100 yards now with a big run and a first down.
Watch this big offensive line just take charge. Zone blocking, which means everyone steps in one direction, and they went left on this one. And look at how the gap opens up. Right there between Zach Martin, their all-pro guard. Lyle Collins is playing his best football at right tackle since he's been in a Dallas uniform.
Elliott again. And, you know, Elliott, for that carry, Charles, 117 yards. That'll be his 17th carry. And, you know, he had some yards at the end of the first half, which helped that total. But I think Dak Prescott said it well. You know, it's just playing within our offense now. It's not as so much as give it to Zeke every time. He's still going to be huge. He has to be for them to win. But it's a part of it so far this year.
Last year, he was 34% of their total offense. Coming into today's game, 19%, which means other people have stepped up and assumed the mantle as well, getting Amari Cooper last year. Blake Jarwin's development at tight end. You know, we go on and on with this.
Get the idea. Fake to him here. They get it to Cobb. And Randall Cobb is going to be shy of a first down.
Oh, yeah, they added Randall Cobb from Green Bay.
That helps.
And an intact offensive line because Travis Frederick is back playing center. Joe Looney did a nice job for them last year, but Travis Frederick is an all-pro center and handles the line calls, sees the game so well. What did Zeke tell us? He's like another coach on the field for us with the offensive line.
Said he's irreplaceable.
Hey, John Tony. John Tony. Let's go, Jacob. Oh, mama, take it.
They're going to run the option again. This time get Elliott involved, and he's got a first down.
You know what's tough for defensive coordinators is that you have to break some rules to defend when they show that option. There's Travis Frederick, who's just dominant inside, and he's not even really at 100% of what we're going to see later on with this season as he's come back from Guillain-Barré syndrome, getting his strength back, his footwork back, but already he's made a huge difference for them. But it breaks where you got to break rules when Dak runs the option because he's not really a threat to keep it yet. Yet you still have to defend him, and that opens it up for the tailback.
Reverse this.
Just get it off. Pollard gets the carry, left side. And he moves the pile forward across midfield. Well, we talked about Frederick. You just mentioned it. And, you know, for all the things on the field, and you realize how much you miss him and how much he misses playing, there were much harder things, right, Pam Oliver?
Right, Kevin. Travis Frederick, he knew the impact of the autoimmune disease and that he battled all of it last year and what that would mean for him as a player. But what he didn't anticipate was how it would impact his day-to-day life as a dad. Frederick told us he was so physically debilitated he couldn't do many of the simplest things with his two young kids. He spoke of being heartbroken over the fact that he couldn't get down on the floor, roll around.
And look at Pollard with the big run while you're talking about Frederick opening up at a big hole. Huge run for Tony Pollard down to the 21. Pam, go ahead.
He couldn't get down on the floor, roll around with his then 2.5-year-old son Oliver, or how it was just plain unsafe for him to carry his youngest daughter Kensington up the stairs to put her to bed because he was just so unsteady, guys.
And Pam, we just watched Travis Frederick just hold it down in the middle as well as the rest of his line mates, which allowed a huge hole. And then Pollard with excellent vision. Terrific cutback once he got into the secondary to gain big yardage.
You imagine not being able to carry a young kid up to bed as Elliott has stopped. So a lot of things have gone right for the Cowboys today and Travis Frederick, but we found one thing that didn't, Charles.
What's that?
In the pregame.
Oh, yes.
He's no Randy Moss.
Listen, every lineman wants to be a skill position player, right? Look at Travis going to the post. I mean, I'm old enough to remember Oakland beating Baltimore in the playoffs. And you remember Dave Casper going to the post? They called it the ghost to the post route for the big play.
Yeah.
That was Travis Frederick trying to be ghost to the post. And Blake Jarwin looks like Travis Frederick on that one, except he's supposed to catch it. He's a tight end.
Get a penalty on this play, too. That was Zach Martin, by the way, who I think threw that pass. That's great. The exasperation, right?
Hey, Zach Martin's like, you know I can't throw it any better than that, right? Like, I have one throw like that in me. And you don't catch
After the play, personal foul, unnecessary roughness, offense. Number 86. That 15-yard penalty will be enforced from the dead ball spot. Third down.
That's Dalton Schultz. He's the third tight end on this roster.
He doesn't get to play a whole lot right now. He might have been trying to get a lot of that out in one shot. You think that someone in the organization just saw that piece of tape and that might roll into their game film?
I mean, I'm honestly hoping it does.
That might roll into game film on Monday.
I don't know if Travis Frederick will ever talk to us again, but we do it out of love. It'll be a 3rd and 25 after the personal foul. Prescott. A lot of time over the middle. Elliott is knocked away nicely by Jerome Baker, second-year linebacker. 3rd-round pick last year from Ohio State.
That was pretty, wasn't it? Was that Zeke he was covering?
It was.
A little Ohio State on Ohio State. Jerome Baker, second year, as you noted, already elected a team captain. Excellent quickness, good skills. Look at him come across the middle. Zeke goes up for it. Hits him right on the elbow and helps knock it away. Really nice play by Baker.
Here's Brett Maher from 55. His career high is 62. Snap and hold are good. Kick is up and doinked. Close but no cigar. Plenty of distance. Had a little fade to it. And the Cowboys can't add on to their lead. Nothing worse than that noise if you're a kicker. Still, though, 24-6, Dallas. Well, Josh Rosen did a lot of good things in the first half, and he had 3 drops as well. The second half has not been as kind. He has not been sharp. And the Dolphins offense has given up a couple sacks as well. Cowboys have dominated. They get Grant on the jet sweep, and he gets pile drive by Anthony Brown. Well, that'll fit right in with the WWE. SmackDown on Friday nights. There you go. So,
and this is textbook tackling for him, though. Shoulder into the midsection, lift the legs and drive. And what I think the league really likes he actually didn't come down on top of
that goal.
Like we're talking about with quarterbacks. Able to get him on the ground without the extra oomph of hitting him in the midsection while he's on the deck.
Rosen over the middle, knocked away, incomplete. Van Der Esch was right there. And so we showed you Rosen in the first half and in the second half. You know, how do we look at his body of work today in his first Dolphins start?
I look at it in a very positive light because I thought the game plan to try and do a little extra protection, take some shots downfield, that worked for them well at times. I thought the offensive line in the first half held up better than anyone ever would have expected. But the loss of Jesse Davis at left tackle, moving Michael Dieter, the rookie, from guard to tackle, and Evan Boehm coming in the second half, that's been a struggle for them. I think Dallas has really come at them with good pressure. He's made it hard.
They blitz, he comes near side, it's incomplete. Preston Williams, the intended receiver, they couldn't connect. Game break time. Let's go back to Carissa Thompson.
Thanks, Kevin. So Eagles down by 10 against Detroit. Trying to get back into this one. Wentz to Aguilar helps. 2-yard score. Aguilar's second of the day. Eagles still down 27-24. We will see the Eagles and the Packers Thursday night right here on Fox. Kevin.
Yeah, so Eagles trying to come back there, playing with an injured receiving core. Packers are up 27-16, trying to go 3-0. 4th down and 6. Dolphins going for it. Why not? 7:07 to go, down 24-6. Near side is caught by Williams for a first down.
And those were sweet words to Dolphins fans' ears. Caught by Williams. We've seen too many bounce off of their hands throughout the last few ball games. And that was a nice, beautiful, sharp throw by Rosen. And a good job by Williams, the undrafted free agent out of Colorado State. His numbers would have suggested he gets drafted and drafted high. I mean, he caught 96 balls for like 1,300 yards there. I mean, in one season. Yet he goes undrafted, but earns his way on the roster of the Dolphins.
Pressure from Quinn. Rosen steps away. Rosen is sacked, number 3 of the second half. And DeMarcus Lawrence, his first full sack of the year.
And I think they're playing some games in here now. I think they're playing some games, right? Watch Lawrence. Here we go. Move, and then the spin. What a great job by Lawrence. Able to work his way back inside after starting upfield with the spin move. And that's going to take away a little bit of that frustration, getting his first one of the season.
Big hole for Drake. Coming near side, breaks through the tackle and gets bounced out of bounds inside the 40. I'll tell you what, Charles. Robert Quinn has 1 sack. He has been shot out of a cannon every single snap, though, on that right side.
How many plays was he supposed to play, though, today?
Not as many as he's played.
I mean, didn't Jason Garrett tell us it's probably going to be on a little bit of a pitch count?
I thought it was
somewhere up to 20 to 30 max plays. I don't remember him being out. Now, part of that is they're down a few defensive linemen.
Right.
And Pam reported earlier Christian Covington had a calf injury. And probably Robert Quinn just flat out refused to come out today.
Quinn, aggressive, goes upfield, and they had him beat, but the screen pass to Drake is way overthrown. And now 4th and 5, you assume they have to go again.
This is his first game of the year. He missed the first 2 due to NFL suspension. And that was a surprise to everyone because that's not the Robert Quinn we've known. When you talk with the Cowboys, though, they say he's been nothing but the ultimate professional here, as he has been throughout his career. I think they've probably tried to sub out for him, Kevin, and he's told him, forget it. It's my first game. I'm staying out there.
And by the way, they got him from the Dolphins for a 6th-round pick in the offseason. 4th down. Need to get to the 33. Rosen, and that is not going to get it done. Gesicki, the tight end, is bottled up by Heath and Van Der Esch. And the Cowboys will take over with 5:27 to go. We got a late flag on this play. And maybe not. I think that was picked up. You think about how the first half ended for the Dolphins. They had a chance to take the lead. They were driving inside the 10, and then Kenyon Drake fumbled, and it went to the break 10-6 Cowboys. Well, since Dallas has absolutely dominated the Dolphins in this game. Both sides of the football. 24-6 your score. 5:27 to go in the ball game. From Arlington, it's Pollard. Look at a run out this clock at this point with an 18-point lead. as the Cowboys looking to go 3-0. That is rough for this offense. And give the Cowboys credit, they have come to life with the pass rush. Pollard patiently around the end, and he stays in bounds too. First down for Dallas as Pollard down to the 43 of Miami. Coming up after this game is over, we'll have the State Farm postgame show and possibly get you to Philadelphia, where the Lions lead the Eagles by 3 with 3 and change to go in that game. We have an injury timeout, and with that we'll be back after this message from State Farm. Back here AT&T Stadium. Cowboys trying to salt this game away with 4:24 to go. And looking to go 3-0 on this young season. Tony Pollard in the game as Ezekiel Elliott gets a little bit of a break. Not much. So for the Dolphins, it has been, well, it's been a tough start. I mean, played better, especially in this first half, but there's great sales in Miami, Charles. Great shopping, and the Dolphins had a fire sale. Going fast. Wake, Amendola, Gore, gone. How about Tannehill? Quinn to Dallas. Tunzel for a couple of first-rounders. Stills goes in that trade. Alonzo gone as well, and don't miss it. Minkah Fitzpatrick also in the sale. This week, he's traded away the Steelers for a #1 pick. Quite the sale for Miami, trying to retool everything and redo this team with owner Stephen Ross right there. And look, what they're doing is they've got a lot of draft picks. 3 #1s and 2 #2s in next year's draft alone. And what they're also doing is they don't have many veterans, and they've lost a lot of talent on the field as a penalty on this short run by Pollard. And so, look, it's a total rebuild. And I know some people have said they're tanking. They won't use that word, and I get it, because for the players in that man,
guy right there will not.
He's not tanking.
No,
they're trying to win. But from an organizational standpoint,
number 96.
when you get rid of that many good players, you can get all the draft picks that you want, but draft picks are not a sure thing.
No, not at all, because that means you got, if you're saying you're rebuilding and we'll use these draft picks and rebuild our team, you can't miss on any of them. All of them have to hit. So all those guys have to come in and be great players right out of the gate. And that's a tough thing to do, because when you are a drafter, the best drafters in the NFL are trying to hit the 50% out of each draft that are contributing to the ball club. It's a tough task to say that everyone you get is going to hit. So that makes it difficult. But we talked to Chris Greer, the general manager, in pregame, and he talked about we've got to try to do our best to get out of the model we've been in, at 9-7, 8-8. We're trying to get championships for this team. This is one way to do it. And he's talked with different people in different organizations, different sports, how they've rebuilt, right? He said he talked to the Cubs and talks to the Marlins and other people. So they're trying their best to find a formula that gets Miami back to prominence.
Yeah, he said he spent time with Jed Hoyer and Theo Epstein of the Cubs. Obviously, they had to build up, right? And this is hard. Stephen Ross, we showed you their owner. He said the goal isn't to try and patch some holes to go 9-7, make the playoffs. I want to compete for and win Super Bowls. Obviously, they're hosting a Super Bowl in their stadium this year. We've got it on Fox. But you talked about 8-8. They're not even that right now. They haven't. Their last playoff win was 2000. So I applaud them in this. It may be really ugly on the field this year. It already is. That man, I think, has a chance to be a good head coach. Not necessarily with this roster, but it hasn't worked for 20 years. So why not try something different?
The Houston Astros, how many years in a row did they lose 100 games?
3.
And then they ended up winning what?
100.
And a World Series.
In a row, and a World Series, and they're in position to win another one. Penalties on the field. Here's the big issue. Xavier Howard, who was the one high-priced veteran on this team, with Cedric Wilson.
So it's a lot of pushing and shoving. The only thing I can think is, are they saying maybe a punch was thrown when they were pushing off like that. I thought maybe Xavier Howard, that's what they're discussing. I'm hoping it just goes down to some bad pushing and shoving at the end of the game. That didn't look like a wholehearted taking a swing at someone.
Well, I didn't see a punch. I just saw a couple guys shoving, and I think it's time to get on and move the play along at this point.
Let's get the call from Adrian Hill, please.
The result of the play was a first down. After the play, personal foul, unnecessary roughness, defense, number 25. Number 25 of Miami has been disqualified. Automatic first down.
And so Xavier Howard is out of the game. And the Cowboys are waving goodbye, apparently.
So Ken Webster, the rookie, number 31 out of Mississippi, will replace their best cover corner. Went to the Pro Bowl last year. Brian Flores counseling him a little bit there. Probably telling me he appreciates the effort. But when we get in these tight games, we need you out on the field. And it's just such a tough task for all these guys, you know. They know what's going on. They see guys leaving the locker room. They lose some veteran leadership when guys leave and go to other places. You know, Jim Caldwell, who was supposed to be an assistant head coach, is out with illness. And that's hurt this franchise as well because it's a young coaching staff and they needed him.
Here is Pollard all the way in for 6. Ezekiel Elliott is over 100 yards rushing. Tony Pollard is over 100 yards rushing for the first time in his career. And Tony Pollard just scored his first NFL touchdown.
Left-sided, Olawale, 49, nice block. Look at the block at the point of attack there by number 86, Dalton Schultz, the tight end. And Tony Pollard, quick to and through the hole and into the end zone.
The Cowboys today have 236 yards rushing, their first back-to-back 200-yard rushing game since 2009. And after a first half where the offense was disjointed, they have absolutely pulverized Miami in the second half.
Did you hear what Michael Strahan said in our pregame show? He said this is a Cowboys team that potentially can dominate opponents on offense and defense. And because of that potential, they could be the most dangerous team in the NFL. Through 3 weeks, people are going to talk about who they played. They're going to talk about the schedule, and maybe it's not up to snuff. That's what Michael's talking about. This defense really got after it in the second half. That's what we're looking at. Offense really put it together. And guess what? Next week, they head to New Orleans. That'll be a heck of a test, even though Drew Brees won't be playing.
Look, it's 3 weeks in, and you're right. You know, Giants, Redskins, Dolphins is not the real meat
not
of the
murderer's
schedule.
row.
But I'll tell you what. You look at the early returns, they are, I mean, I think they're the top team in the NFC right now. I mean, just the way they look. Again, it's early. You can make arguments. I understand that, right?
But you've got to put them up there in that discussion. And what'll be fun to me, I'm looking out west. In the NFC West, we could potentially have 3 teams off to 3-0 starts when this weekend is over.
Good.
San Francisco, Seattle, and the Los Angeles Rams. So that's going to be a fun one to watch as well.
273 to 27 for total yards in this second half. And you heard Pam tell us a long time ago about Jason Garrett. You know, whatever he said certainly worked. He was begging his team to respond. They have responded in the biggest way. 3:45 to go. Miami just looking for something to build on at this point as Rosen throws it into the dirt. Incomplete. Balaj was in the area. There is Garrett in his 10th year. What do you think about that? 10th year as Dallas Cowboys coach. Only Tom Landry has more wins than Jason Garrett. And I'll tell you what, obviously Jerry Jones has loved him for a long time, gave him the big money to stay on as offensive coordinator.
The patience to stay with Jason Garrett. Remember in the midst of those 8 and 8 years, what did we have, 3 straight 8
3 in a row.
How many people thought that Jason Garrett would see a 10th year during that run?
And he's been rewarded. A couple of division titles. And this team has a chance to go a lot farther than that. As Kalen Balaj has the first down, as the Jones family up there with Garrett, who, you know, the other thing about Garrett is, and you well know this, head coach and quarterback of the Dallas Cowboys requires a special personality. It's not to be, everyone can't handle it.
No, it's not to be taken lightly because you get more attention than the governor does. It's not even close.
No.
The governor needs your endorsement.
Balaj with a stick by Kayvon Frazier. Get some time out there.
That's what he does best. He's a quasi linebacker, listed as a defensive back. Play him near the line of scrimmage and turn him loose that way. But what Jason Garrett has put together, and remember this, he's coaching the last year of his contract. And you don't see a hint or hear a hint about it with he and his ball club. They just go to work.
That's what they've done so far. Rosen over the middle. Got a completion and a first down. Devontae Parker, who's into Dallas territory, for a first down for the Dolphins. Elliott with 125 yards rushing. Pollard with 103 yards rushing and his first NFL touchdown just moments ago. Last time they had two of those, Emmitt Smith and Chris Warren back in 1998.
Wow. Remember what a big-time runner Warren was with Seattle?
Mm-hmm. Takes us down to the 2-minute warning, where today Big D stands for dominance. 31-6. 2 to go. There is Rich Dalrymple on the right, the PR extraordinaire who's been here since what? Jimmy Johnson came here in '89. He is one of the greats. I mean, he really is. Just does a fantastic job in everything. And again, obviously he's been here a long, long time. And fed our producer, Pete Macheska, so much barbecued turkey the other day, he nearly exploded at dinner. Rich, we appreciate all you do, including feeding Pete. Artie Kempner, our director, is jealous because he wanted more turkey.
Listen, I got some of that myself, so I'm not gonna. I wouldn't turn that down. That was good stuff. Here's Rich.
Never one with terminal verbosity either. Never have to worry about that with Rich. Here's Rosen. Final moments of this game. Gesicki, the tight end, as Joe Thomas gets in on the tackle with 1:17 to play. The Dolphins will go to 0-3. The Cowboys will go to 3-0. And the State Farm postgame show is coming your way next. If we have time, we'll get you out to some other games, including the Lions leading the Eagles 27-24 with under a minute to go there. But we'll see how that plays out. 3rd and 2 here for the Dolphins and Rosen.
Take another big shot. Here's a great opportunity.
Pressure, gonna take that shot, going for Parker. Tries another one-handed catch and can't connect. And it's incomplete. We've got a game break. Let's check in with Carissa.
Thanks, Kevin. So the Bills down by 3 late in the 4th. Looking to stay undefeated, Josh Allen hands it off to Frank Gore. Frank Gore, 36 years old, by the way, scores from 1 yard out. Bills leading this one 21-17. Kevin?
Carissa, you're not gonna. Well, you probably will believe this. I did a couple of Frank Gore's games in high school. I remember one game he played. He had 3 fumbles in the first half and ran for over 300 yards before the night was over.
Still going.
Still going at 36 years old.
4th and 2. Drake on the carry. Surges forward. Don't think so. I think he's going to be short. I think that'll do it. Cowboys should take over, take a knee, and start your engines to a 3-0 start. The Dolphins, meanwhile, played well for a half. Second half, it just wasn't there. And he is short.
Good job closing and not allowing him to get to the sticks. And let's see what they do here. What they've been doing is what they call the Landry shift here at the end in victory formation, which is a very cool, paying homage to the Cowboys of the past. Remember how the offensive line would come out and then they pop up in the air and go in their stance. Let's see if they do that here to close out in victory. There it is.
Cowboys will win it 31-6 over the Dolphins as they are 3-0 as we send it right now to the conclusion of the Lions and Eagles in Philly down to the wire. Tom Brenneman, Chris Spielman. That's it from Arlington. Cowboys win. Tom and Chris take it away.